welcome everyone to the latest edition of the Next Big Pod. A big preview edition this week for the first time in about 2 months. We've actually got some fights to preview, so we'll get straight into it. I'm joined by Sam, Alex, who sacked off the Asylum on Sunday because, quote, he didn't want to waste his hot takes on a 2-bit nonce show. And Ainsley and Cal. So welcome everyone.
And me and Cal like a double act, and that's why he said both our names together. Like really,
sound very similar. A lot of viewers get confused.
True.
Right, guys. Out of you lot, you three are all going, aren't you, on Saturday?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so we probably might not be talking to each other by next week.
Yeah, so you should get all the pleasantries out of the way now.
Well, you'll be in the canal, half of you.
I'm the pusher, so I'm not going to be going in.
Alex, not going. Is Alex the Road Warrior not attending this show?
No, I'm not attending, unfortunately.
You're going to a house show, mate, yeah?
Well, there's more important fights, and that's obviously Robin Deacon returning to the ring soon. I need to save up for that.
Blue Water. You're going down to Blue Water.
Are you two, just before we start, are you two going to buy it?
No.
Oh, fuck.
I told you I'm probably not going to watch it, just because I've got some friends coming around, and if they want to go to the pub or something, I'll probably end up there and come back and watch it on a, come back about 11 or something and try and watch it without any spoilers.
It's not going to be a fight where they'll have in that many pubs either, I wouldn't say, because it's not really...
Exactly. The pub near me isn't going to show it. But I've got mates around who don't follow boxing, and I don't think I'll convince them to watch it on a stream on a Saturday night if they're pissed. But,
yeah, it's a lot easier to get people to watch two 18-stone black fellas hitting each other than two 9-stone kids, isn't it?
We'll stick the dog pound on, definitely. But
yeah.
Well, that's the point. I mean, why hasn't this fight captured, casual interest as much, I suppose? I mean, they're drumming it up to be as this, big super fight, biggest fight since Fox Grove's bollocks, but it's not, is it?
I think.
Why don't we let's think about that and come back to it in half an hour or so, because obviously we're going to finish the show with a big Quigg Frampton preview. It is the biggest fight this weekend, even if we're a little bit biased as British guys. But also, Alex, add to that question. What do we think it's going to sell? Should we try and let's set a line at some stage in the show on pay-per-view buys? I mean, I think if they do anywhere north of 200,000 would be pretty good, wouldn't it? I don't think it'll do that many. Maybe 150.
Well, we won't know, will we? That's the problem with it. We're not going to find out. They're not going to release the numbers either way.
I think it'll do somewhere in between Kell Brook, Frankie Gavin, and Bellew Cleverly. Won't do as well as Bellew Cleverly, but it'll do.
Bellew Cleverly, didn't that do like 200, 225, something like that?
Yeah, I think the Brook one did about 150, 125, 150. So I think it'll be round in between them two.
Such a joke, isn't it, when the Brook card does less, which had 3 or 4 really, really good, well-matched, meaningful fights.
Yeah,
and
that cracking
shite up in Liverpool got more buys.
But I think that did some damage, though. I think that's the argument. I think that card ended up doing a bit of short-term damage. But I don't think this will do as many as White AJ did.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Of course not. Yeah, that did like 400, didn't it, or something?
I thought it was less. I think this is probably going to be low 100s, maybe 150.
Yeah.
I do not think it's going to be that many.
And do we think it will be a sellout? Like an actual proper sellout, not an Eddie Hearn sellout?
It's going to be close to it.
Well, there's still apparently a few tickets floating about on, StubHub and the like.
Yeah, £80 tickets. I saw a link earlier.
Yeah, £80 tickets going for like 90 quid, and they'll pretty much be face value by tomorrow, I imagine.
Well, Eddie Hearn's trying to get him face value, but bloody StubHub keep getting in the way, stopping Eddie, ruining his relationship with the fans. We'll get on to StubHub later as well, because I'm sure we've all got a lot to say about that. But to start, I thought we could talk about Sturm Chudenhoff, just because there are possible implications for some British fighters. People's favourite Paul Smith, people's favourite Jamie Cox. These are elite world level.
I don't hate Jamie Cox like that, dude.
I don't hate him, but he's quite unlikable, like his person.
I hate him.
You know what I mean?
I think he's an absolute cunt.
Right, you've got to back that up. What's he done?
Look at his timeline from what he was fucking saying Saturday night. He was
Yeah,
tweeting.
but you hated him before Saturday night, though.
Yeah, because he's a fucking gobshite. But
What did he do? You have to justify it.
Well, we've established Paul doesn't like anyone or anything. So.
but if you look at it, so let's just say specifically Saturday. So if you're just looking at it on some Saturday, he's tweeting people, literally saying, "I'll break Sturm. It's going to be a special KO. I'll wreck him."
Yeah, but
like,
I mean, he might have been pumped up, thinking, you know, I've got a chance to get this. It might have been said in the heat of the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sort of carried that vein on all the way through to today. I'd give him a slack for one day because people do end up saying some stupid things at times. But
all right, but yeah, you hated him long before Saturday. So what made you hate him?
Because he's a shit hat. Well, he's not shit. I don't know how good he is, but he's just a Warren hype job at the minute, and everyone's going mad about him. Oh, look at him! He's this big destroyer. He's fought 4 guys in the last 3 years, and all of them have been bombs. Absolute bombs.
A couple of them had losing records, didn't they, and stuff? Like, they were really bad.
So for Alistair Warren, who is like 50-50 record, like 8 wins, 8 draws. And then the other 3 are bums. One of them had a losing record. 2 of them had like 20 wins, 7 loss sort of record, but they're just pure shite. They've not beat anyone who's got a winning record themselves, I doubt. It's misleading, but it's like, I don't know. It's annoying me. He's the biggest myth kicking about at the minute.
It's weird with Cox because he does look. I mean, he doesn't look terrible when you see him, and you think surely if he was decent, they'd stick him in with someone, you know, a sort of fringe contender or something. But they don't seem to want to. It's weird.
He's not fought anyone. But look at the guys he could have chucked him in with. Warren could have chucked him in with. There's like Blackledge could have fucking chucked him in with Buglione if he knew he was getting rid of him. You know what I mean? There's all sort of guys kicking about. What's the other guy? Lee Markham. There's a few. They're not like great fighters. Do
we think? Sorry, you mentioned Buglione. Sort of open to everyone, but do we think that Warren knew he was sort of possibly wanting out, and so chucked him in with Chudinov, basically just do or die, he's leaving anyway, sort of thing? Because that fight makes a lot more sense when you think that Buglione was about to leave and it was going to be his last fight. Because that fight's ruined Buglione. Let's be honest. Like that's going to have.
Yeah, but it depends what it cost him, doesn't it? Because he probably lost money on that fight. And when Buglione probably sells 1,000 tickets regardless of his fighting because he's a big ticket seller. So it'd make more sense for Warren if he knows he's getting rid of him just to stick him in with another like area level guy and actually have a decent fight because everyone knew he was going to lose to Chudinov, didn't they? And didn't get anyone's like attention, whereas was it the Markham fight?
No, he sold a lot of tickets. Sold a lot of tickets for that fight.
I know, but the Markham fight, I think it was the Markham fight when it was like a draw.
It was a draw, wasn't it?
It was like a cracking little fight, and I think I would have preferred watching something like that than Buglione against someone you know he's going to lose to.
But there was still buzz around the fight, you know, and I can remember all the posters and that, and people saying, you know, can he do the impossible, etc., etc. And like people knew the fight was happening, whereas the Markham thing was like an area level fight, you know, that he still couldn't win it. But
Well,
maybe Warren's annoyed, and it was kind of a spiteful bit of matchmaking to say, well, all right, if you're going, I'm going to give you, a beating on the way out, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think he could have done it other ways though, because he could have just fed him to could have given him to Cox. If he thinks Cox is this good, he would have clearly knocked him out. So why did he not do that?
Yeah, it's a funny one. I mean, and hasn't Cox had injuries and stuff? Didn't he have hand injuries?
Well, this is the thing. After the robbery, you have mentioned a fair bit. Was it Obadiah Sai? Since that, he didn't fight for 2 or 3 years, did he? And it was
wasn't he didn't he go to prison or something? Am I imagining this? Didn't he have like personal problems that meant he couldn't?
I'm not sure.
He had like a legal thing. I'm sure it was. It might not have been prison, but I'm sure he was like in trouble with something. And because when he came back like a year ago, I remember the Box Nation commentator saying, you know, this is Jamie Cox's sort of road to redemption, as if he'd been defeated or, you know, been knocked out really badly, but he'd just been out of the ring for a couple of years. It's a funny one.
He didn't go to prison. I'm just reading it now. He got done for assault.
I'm just reading.
Oh, he got done for assault. Okay, there you go.
He didn't go to prison. I'm getting feedback off the actual thing.
Yeah, he got.
Go on, Alex. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who's getting the feet. All right, that's better. Yeah, apparently he's saying he got done for assault because I think he hit some bloke outside a bar. This bloke was egging him on or something. He got a suspended sentence of 6 months, community service, 250 hours. But then he just had time off anyway for like a year and a half.
So that proves he's hard then. So Ainsley's shit.
I'll fight him in the street.
In a pub. Maybe. I don't want to throw Tom under the bus, but I really
we'll get Tom on him.
Yeah. If everybody doesn't know, Tom's undefeated at boxing and MMA, and he's hard as fuck.
He's actually providing personal security if anyone's a little bit worried about Manchester. Friday and Saturday. Give Maravilla Tom 89. Quick DM and he'll help you out.
If you need his number for the hotline, just DM one of us lot, and we'll be more than happy to pass it on. 24-hour service.
The fights, you worried she might get a bit of attention. You know, you don't want to be scrapping. You want to focus on the ring. We've all been there. Then get Tom on board. He'll look after her.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no trouble.
Back on topic about Bailey Cox. Right. Yeah. The thing that the only gripe I really had with him was obviously he was banging on about the Sturm robbery, and that was just reeked of hypocrisy. After the Obadiah Sai fight was just an absolute fucking travesty. The way that went.
I've never seen him say a word about that either. Like,
no one has. I mean, no one on the fucking Box Nation stuff really said anything about it when he was being all smug and smarmy about fucking Sturm being a knobhead with the judges again. But that's probably one of the worst just fights, not even just robberies, fights that I've probably seen in the last few years.
Yeah, he should have been disqualified, shouldn't he? He had 2 points off. He should have had about 5 points off.
That's the thing. I can't remember that. I don't even know if I've seen it, to be honest. But
it's disgusting.
I read
YouTube. It's on YouTube. You should watch it.
I read an article just on it on the other day because I thought I'm not just going to run the system. Instead, a better referee would have disqualified him. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Even the context thing. Cox how is he getting away with this sort of thing?
My favourite thing about the entire article was at the bottom there was a section saying Ian John Lewis was one of the ringside judges and turned in a typically horrible scorecard even for himself.
For fuck's sake.
Which just made me laugh. I could have predicted that.
Wasn't that was like a majority victory or something, wasn't it? Like one of the cards was really, really close, or it was a split decision or something, and Ian John Lewis was the one who had the very wide card to the British guy.
Yeah, well, I think from what they said, without the point deductions, Cox would have won by like 6 points on 2 cards.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, they would have given him sort of 9 rounds of the fight. It was a absurd decision. But I actually watched it again. Same. I thought we were going to be talking about it. I watched it again a couple of days ago, and the one thing I will say, and I agree with Alex completely, that, and we can sort of talk about this more generally, that the British referees and judges are just as bad as anywhere, if not worse. So I have a real problem with fighters saying, the judges are always biased in Germany, because they're just as bad over here. But the one thing is, the Germans were cheering the decision, Sturm against Chudenov, right? They were cheering that Sturm had won. The fans in that Cox side fight, they booed the decision. They did boo it because they knew that he'd lost. And that is, I do think you do get that sometimes in this country, where even if the judges and the referees and the promoters are all corrupt, the fans can.
Well, yeah, look at Froch Groves 1 at the end of it, when Froch was like raising his hands in the interview afterwards. All the fans were booing the fuck out of him. Everyone hated Groves before that fight. They thought he was a cocky little knobhead, and obviously Froch was the darling of casual boxing.
He was at his peak, wasn't he? Peak popularity of his whole career.
And he got smashed about, and because of Howard Foster's fucking about, and then Froch trying to be all cocky about it afterwards in his traditional fashion, the fucking fans booed him.
I'll tell you what, I watched that knockdown again the other day as well, and Froch jumps onto the punch. Imagine if Groves had caught Badu Jack with that. He would have been out for 5 minutes, honestly. Absolutely, but it's amazing that he got up, really. Unbelievable. But yeah, sorry.
Well, his soul lost after that, wasn't it?
Sorry?
He lost his soul after those fights, unfortunately. So.
Yeah,
I think they both paid a bit of a price for it.
You obviously didn't watch the De Luisa fight, you lot, because he's back. So think again. He's going to be world champion by 2019.
He's just got to wait for Well, actually, that brings us round quite nicely. What do we think Sturm's going to do next? after the decision. And also, just in case anyone doesn't know, obviously it's Wednesday now. You've probably all heard, but Sturm lost, I thought, about 8 rounds to Chudinov.
But you know what? Because I watched
got
most of
the
it.
and has won the title back again for the 5th time. Sorry, Ainsley, go on.
But I watched most of it, and you know, like when Chudinov fought Buglioni, and we said, well, he's fucking winning every round here, but he's just not forcing it. He's just like he's
in second gear the whole time. Yeah.
And he was doing that again on Saturday, and I was thinking, he can't be doing this here, because we're not trying to sound like an hypocrite, because obviously it's bad here, saying you don't know what they're going to turn in over there, especially when they were cheering shots that were missing and stuff, and you think, why does he not? He could have got him out of there. He could have stopped Sturm.
I think he could have done that. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like he doesn't. I just don't think he's like that. I think he just fights one way and he keeps going kind of at a relentless pace. But it's kind of like we said, it's second or third gear rather than being, sort of breakneck top speed.
I think it's one of them fights where you score it. I think Chudinov definitely won 6 rounds, and then after that, I think it's all just like up in the air. So the worst Chudinov could have got, I think, on a scorecard is a draw, and then there was like 4 flipping rounds where he could have won them as well. So he could have like won fucking 9 or 10 rounds conceivably, but he could never have won less than 6.
I gave it 8, and I thought I was being quite generous to Sturm, to be honest, in a couple of them.
He looked like he wanted to quit though, Sturm. I think it was, when he got the cut. I think he got cut. There was a bit of a clash of heads, and he sort of like turned his back, and he was looking to the ref, and it was like
he was just knackered. I just think
he looked like he wanted to quit in the first fight as well. He's just exactly. He's old. He's 36 or whatever. And also, can we just say one other thing, just for anyone who's listening and saying, oh, but Sturm always gets robberies. The biggest fight of Sturm's career against De La Hoya, he was robbed. So I think he's kind of
robbed bad in that as well.
Oh, that was bad, yeah.
That would have been the biggest win he could have possibly... That's the biggest win he would have ever got in his career, and it was taken away from him unfairly. So he's kind of, it does cut both ways. And when people like Martin Murray are whining about Sturm being this protected guy, you want to say, well, imagine how much he'd fucking whinge if he'd gone and beaten De La Hoya and not got the decision. Like a pound-for-pound sort of superstar fighter. Sturm should become a star after that, and he never got the chance.
But the thing is, I still say that Martin Murray got a bit of slice of luck when he fought Sturm, because I thought Murray lost. I thought Macklin beat Sturm, but I thought Murray got beat himself. So he should really count himself lucky to have got a draw.
I thought Macklin won more convincingly, yeah, and I think it was pretty close. I might have even had that draw against Murray, to be honest. I thought it was a really close fight. Could have gone really
I thought, they were both pretty messy fights, but Murray he's just a serial complainer about stuff. He doesn't like to sort of take any responsibility, but
he's like Chudinov. He never kind of seals the deal, does he? He always does kind of just in that, but maybe not.
I'd understand Murray whining about that fight if that was just the one time when it happened where he had a really close one and didn't get the nod. But it seems to happen a lot with Murray, where he doesn't put in the full effort to really steal home the 12 rounds. He always just makes it close enough to, I'm not saying, leave himself open to be robbed, but certainly not ever win it convincingly. And I've never ever heard anyone say, or should I say a convincing group of people that say, yeah, he definitely won that fight. I mean, you get your diehards that will say, or diehard fans of his that will say, yeah, he definitely beat Martinez, he definitely beat Sturm, he definitely beat Abraham, but you'll never find a group that will say, yeah, he did that. There's always mixed opinions.
He's going to regret that Abraham fight when he looks back after he's finished his career, because he fucking blew that.
Yeah.
Abraham was there to be beat, and he
was there to be
fucking blew it.
100%. But also, I think it's quite interesting that fight's kind of slipped into the pool of robberies now. Like if you saw when they were, all the Scousers and all the lads up there were tweeting, the guys who'd fought Sturm were tweeting, what do you have to do to get a decision in Germany? And at the beginning, it was sort of them saying, yeah, Paul Smith first time and Macklin, and then it became Paul Smith first time, Macklin and Murray, and then it became Paul Smith first time, Macklin, Murray both times, and then it became Paul Smith both times, Murray both times, Macklin, and then one lad at the end threw Barker in there and said that was a robbery, and I pointed out that got knocked out in the second round, mate. That was not a robbery.
No, that fight didn't take place.
Yeah, that
Alex.
didn't happen, mate.
And the fight didn't happen. We've established that. But this guy went, and you could just, and it was some guy, and he was called like, Johnny Redman or something, just some Scouse bum sniff, and he went like, "Oh yeah, and Barker was robbed as well, wasn't he?" Like, as if no one's ever got a decision over there. It's just nonsense. Didn't Gill's won there twice, hasn't he, on decision?
And Solomon.
Yeah. Solomon got mugged off the first time, didn't he? There's something shady about that, but yeah, I thought Sturm beat Gill.
To be fair, when
No,
people
Gill,
say, "Oh,
close.
Germany's bad," Hay went to Germany and beat Valuev when most people thought he lost that fight. So there we go. And he got the nod.
You can pick plenty out where the German fighter's been unlucky. You can pick plenty out.
You can also pick fights where the A side hasn't been German and they've got the doubt against a German guy. Do you know what I mean? It's quite clear that the judges, I'm not going to say the judges aren't going to be sort of persuaded by certain promoters. They clearly are, but it's not as if they only favour German fighters. There's been plenty.
No.
I still maintain the worst one. Still, the worst one I've ever seen was Robin Reed against Otka, just because the referee was so bad, and that was just where the referee completely dictated what the result of the fight was going to be. And if any country does that today, it's British referees who allow what's his face, Brian Vera to be punched on the floor when he slipped over, who stopped Enzo Macronelli after he's taken one punch on his gloves. All these are the things that really kind of make people's minds up, and you don't tend to see that in Germany as much as you do over here.
But wasn't the only reason Sturm moved up in weight was for that Arthur Abraham fight? They were supposed to
Well, that was a rumour, but I mean, he moved up anyway because obviously it wasn't for the Stieglitz fight rematch or the fucking rubber match or how many fucking fights they've had.
No, I don't know, but I remember reading something when he did move up that the plan was to get a belt and then unify with Abraham. Can you imagine? Imagine how bad that fight would be.
I think it was as well because his options at middleweight was pretty limited. Because he obviously Triple G's got most of the belts. He just lost the IBS.
Well, he got Triple G when Triple G was worse than he is now. So there's no way he's going to fight. Do you know what I mean? There's no way he's going to fight him now.
And I think obviously the Lee Saunders fight was still to be made, and I think he gathered that he wasn't going to get much action from that. So it probably made sense for him to move up, if anything.
I think I could have seen Sturm as a Saunders defence. Do you know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe Frank wanted to send him over there.
Yeah, Saunders ain't going over there, and Sturm ain't coming over here. So.
No,
I think you're overreaching there, thinking Saunders will be fighting anyone as good or as big high profile as Sturm.
But Saunders will beat Sturm. All things being
he beat him. I'm just saying he's with Warren, and they're going to fight shy or fight someone for big money. Like just go sell him for the highest price to an American or whatever. They're not going to fight anyone. They're not going to fight anyone like 15-5 in the world. It'll either be like 25th best in the world, or they'll go for like the best and just get loads of cash.
Well, the rumor was
they're not going after the money, are they? Because they took the Triple G fight. So
exactly.
they're after soft defences, try and make it look like he's doing something more, and then try and go back in for more money, which probably won't work.
Yeah, I think they'll offer the same money. GGG will offer the same money in a year's time as he is now. Canelo's not going to fight him next year like he's not going to
get offered the same money to fight Canelo, which is a much more winnable fight. Do you know what I mean?
And that'll be after earning a couple of $100,000 twice or whatever against Langford and something.
Yeah, fighting for what was it Liam Smith said, for Christmas money or whatever.
Yeah, but that's a caravan apiece, isn't it? A nice caravan kitted out. And then he's got two caravans, so he can move up one up north, one down south. He'll be buzzing, live it dream, and then he can go against $3 million against GGG.
But apparently, Bob Arum said to Tom Loeffler that if Ramirez beats Abraham, he'll make the Triple G fight.
Fuck's
sake. Have we got odds on that fight yet? Because I fancy Abraham to win that. I think Ramirez is shite and just not good enough, really.
I'll get it up.
Abraham's not an even fucking sharp, is he?
Well, Abraham's not great, but I feel like that fight will be a lot closer than people think, because they think people are overestimating Ramirez. I think he's very overrated generally.
What kind of odds would you want, Shep, to back Abraham? Like 2-1 or more?
Yeah, something like that. If I backed him on points.
1 sec. I don't think they'll have
points. Yeah, you're not going to get method.
No. But while you're on about that then, so say, obviously, Jimmy Cox is going to get some bum fight for the final eliminator. If he fights either one of them two, well,
Well, he's
So
not
which have
fighting
won?
them because he's just
No.
he's just been announced as getting a fucking WBO final.
Yeah,
eliminator.
well, they're the WBO, aren't they?
Well,
No,
Abraham.
they're
Yeah.
WBA. Sturm's WBA.
Yeah, I'm saying Abraham or Ramirez. Because obviously, if he gets a mandatory for that, he's got to fight one of them. So
Well,
would
not for
you
at least-
fancy? Well, no,
not
it'd
for
be
at
about
least
a
nine
year.
months.
Wouldn't it?
Ramirez is the mandatory, isn't he?
Exactly. So it'll
Yeah.
be at least
Yeah,
9
it'll
months.
be mandatory for a while as well. Yeah.
But we'll say Ramirez. Would you fancy him to beat Ramirez?
Abraham.
Jamie
Jimmy
Cox.
Cox.
That's a close fight, I think. Do you know? I think that could be
Yeah.
a very close fight.
But you see, right, because I think we've had this sort of similar discussion before. He's like, he could be great, but he could be shit. You can't really tell. And you don't know what his power's like because he's only been fighting idiots. He's not fought anyone good, so you can't rate it. So it's a bit of an unknown quantity. So he could theoretically just go and smash him, but he could also just go and get chinned himself. We don't really know, do you?
Yeah. And Ramirez is the same to an extent, I think, because he's been fighting sort of sea-level guys.
It's quite
looking
close,
better, but not that much better. Whereas I think, sorry, Cal, go on.
6-4 he is, so it's quite a close one. And the other fellas 1-2, so Ramirez 1-2, Abraham 6-4. But I just think that's one of them fights where the odds would just flip if it were in Germany. I think they're both so similar, but Abraham might not get the decision with his little fucking shell and then fight for 20 seconds.
What, so Abraham's the favourite and the fight's in Vegas?
No, Abraham's 6-4.
Right, okay.
1-2. But it's not good enough to bet on, I wouldn't say.
I don't know.
I want bigger odds because I don't think he'll get the decision, really. I think he'd have to knock him down a few times.
Is that just a win, though, 64?
Yeah, so points you'll probably get 2.5 to 1, maybe.
Yeah, that might be what I might have a look at that.
I think maybe I might want a bit more than that, though. I don't know. I feel like I think I will score the fight for Abraham, but whether he gets the decision, it's another story. But anyway, so Sturm's got a belt again at the age of God knows what. We don't know if he's even going to fight. Alex, you said there was rumours that Chudinov has a rematch clause.
Well, I read earlier in the week that obviously Chudinov's disputing it with the WBA, obviously. And apparently there was a rematch clause, which, seems a bit bizarre to me for what was a mandatory, but there you go. And if there is, then obviously Sturm's got to fight Chudinov anyway, but I think Chudinov's probably either wanting to make sure the WBA uphold it or try and overturn the decision and well, God knows what. But if that rematch is there, I don't know if Sturm will even want it, let alone want to fight him again. So I think Sturm's plan is probably for the Abraham fight to make the most money. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he retired, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, he got his wishes, wasn't it? I mean, they were making a big deal out of the first 5-time champion bullshit, but. So yeah, he might just retire.
I've said for a
and
while, honestly. I reckon if Sturm was Mexican or American, I reckon people would talk about him being fringe Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying if he was from a different part of the world, I think people would talk about him being in that conversation.
But you see, like Broner's a 4-weight world champion, and Sturm's a 5-time world champion. Which would you say is worse?
I think there's a lot to be said for staying relevant at your weight for a very long time. Do you know what I mean?
Do you count Sturm beating Oscar though? Do you count that as like part of his resume?
I think you can count the performance, obviously, because I don't.
It was middleweight. Oscar was shit middleweight. He was rubbish.
But oh come on, it was still unexpected and massive.
Yeah, good win. Yeah, totally. He was. I think it was more people just not having a clue.
Not saying it's prime Oscar, but
he didn't know who Sturm was. Like,
but he after Oscar, didn't he held that belt for him? I think he got chinned again after, but then he won the WBA for the second time. I think he held that for fair while. It was actually until he got beat off Gil. It was a few years, or more than a few years. Might have been 5.
I think he's a B+ fighter, but who's stayed B+ for a long time, which is there's something to be said for that. Whereas Broner, you could argue, was only ever a B fighter, but he was fighting such shite. Like if you look at who Sturm's beat for the titles and who Broner's beat, like I reckon Broner couldn't name the 4 guys he fought. Can anyone off the top of their head name the guys Broner fought to win his belts? All 4 of them.
Paulie.
Akaverdiev.
Yeah, Alec Verdiev.
Alec Burdiev, 2. Yeah.
DeMarco.
No, I think that was a unification.
Ooh.
Marcus for the belt, wasn't it?
DeMarco for the belt at 135. Okay, DeMarco, and then who was the other one? And I know you're going to be googling this.
I'm looking now. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was either.
Oh God.
Don't
Not
say
Cherry,
it.
was it?
I'm
It
not-
was going to be Cherry, but then they replaced it
The
with
lad
someone
from
else.
Argentina who'd never fought outside Argentina before.
This is. I would never have guessed this one.
I remember the fast of it happening, but go on.
Vicente Martin Rodriguez.
Yeah, Martin Rodriguez, who I think may have fought once or twice since then.
Yeah. So
He
it
was
is-
half Broner's size in the ring.
So
And,
it's, yeah. So it's Rodriguez, DeMarco, Hawley, and Alakradiev.
yeah,
and
so
then it's
a
fighting-
fucking murderer's run. I mean, in any era, that's a fucking good resume.
Well, to beat Paulie, that's Hall of Fame status.
He fucking
Barely
for
beat
me.
Paulie.
Oh, that
Mick
was
Foley,
such a
which
shit
Pablo
fight.
Cesar Cano did more convincingly, like 2 years before.
Yeah,
When Paulie, do you remember that robbery that
Yeah,
Paulie claimed happened?
Yeah.
Got
Ken
knocked down.
coming well overweight though, didn't he?
I don't know what you lot are on
Um,
about. Paulie's one more big defeat away from being in the Hall of Fame, he said. After his
That's
after his last
well,
performance.
Cal, that's a
I'm-
nice
I'm
segue.
I'm one more big defeat away from the Hall of Fame. Cheers, Paulie.
Funny, he's actually said that twice over the course of a couple of years. He
That
first
means
said
that,
it.
that Boone guy should be in it all day.
No, genuinely, it was really, really funny. Paulie said it first before the Broner fight. He went, look, this is a big. People are saying this is a big fight for him. It's a big opportunity for him, but this is a big opportunity for me. Like, if I beat this guy, then I've won weights. I've won weights in 2 weight divisions, and you're talking about being in the conversation for the Hall of Fame. And Paulie was convinced if he beat Broner, he would have done it, and you could see it in his eyes. Like, he was so desperate for people to agree with him, and the journalists just didn't say anything. And then 2 years later, didn't he say it about Garcia? He was like, look, if I beat Garcia, then come on, guys, you've got to put me in. He's so and I feel a bit bad for him because.
But in a few years, well, not a few, but in over time, there'll be worse fucking fighters than Paulie Malignaggi Hall of Fame at the rate it goes at.
No, they won't.
At some point, there will be because
Not
the
that
standard
bad.
of admitting he's getting slowly worse.
I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I feel like it's got better since. Like Gatti was the low point, but it's kind of got better since then.
Mm.
Look at the guy. Well, look at the class this year, for fuck's sake. What, Calzaghe, Trinidad, De La Hoya? That's pretty good. Like, that's a pretty nice.
No, Calzaghe was
well.
a few years ago, wasn't he?
Or was that last year? Sorry.
Yeah, I think you're just being a bit rash there, Ainsley. I think if it ever gets as bad as Malignaggi, it'll just mean that Italian Americans have been attacked, so they'll have to put one in. Just to even it up a bit.
I don't mind
At
Paulie.
the point though, you do see some shite on the ballot. You do see some
I
people.
think that,
They never get voted in, but like Fernando Vargas is on the ballot. That's mental. He shouldn't be anywhere near the ballot. The idea that you could vote for him for the Hall of Fame is like Vargas was a great fighter, but nowhere near the level to be alongside.
Fucking Sven Otker's on the ballot.
Yeah.
Is Ricky Hatton in?
No, it's
It's
got
not
5 years.
I think Hatton will get in. I don't think he should get anywhere near it, but I reckon
Has
Hatton will get in.
has he not been out 5 years? I thought
I
he would
think
have been.
it'll be
No,
Not
he
since
came back, didn't he?
Yeah, not since Senchenko. He ain't been out 5
What
years.
year was that?
He had the
It was
fire in his
23
belly.
years.
That must
3
have been
years ago.
that must have been
Over 3 years.
2012, 2013.
2012 it was. So
Yeah, the end of
next year.
2012. So
Could be
Hatton will be on the
eligible
ballot.
next year.
You
Yeah,
don't
Hatton
think
will,
he
Hatton will be
should
on the 2017 ballot.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you
ballot-
who is
first ballot Hall of
this
Fame.
year, though, who will definitely get in, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Oh,
Yeah. Barrera, who should get in. Morales must be coming up soon as well. I think didn't he fight? What was that? 2011 or something was his last
12,
fight.
I think.
but we're going to
Yeah,
end up
maybe a
with
bit longer.
Didn't they put Nigel Benn on the ballot this year as well?
Ben and Eubank are both on it.
they've
Yeah.
got a new category, haven't they?
Ben needs to get in there. Not so much you,
This
Frank. He's a
this
prick.
year is quite a kind of. I don't want to say it's weak, but it's a bit weak. Like last year, it was it was De La Hoya, Calzaghe, Trinidad. It was so obvious who the best 3 were. Whereas this year, there's quite a lot of. I've seen a few Americans who are voting for Eubank. It's quite marginal.
Oh, okay then. Off of name 5 active fighters currently who, in 5 years from when they retire, will be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Be up.
Yeah,
Pacquiao.
Manny.
Yeah, well, we've discussed this before, haven't we? Biot, Floyd, Manny, Roy
Marquez.
Jones, Marquez.
But Roy,
Floyd's
Roy
out
Jones,
now.
Roy Jones ain't never going
Vlad.
to retire, so he'll have to go posthumously, won't he?
I think,
Well,
I think
right, so
Frampton
here's
probably get himself in there, won't he?
who?
Froch will probably fight his way in.
Yeah, I had a big
Ricky
debate.
Burns.
I had a debate about this on the forums the other month. I said, if Froch wants to get in the Hall of Fame, he needs to beat Golovkin. I think beating Golovkin would have got him in. And this is when he was, they were apparently negotiating. And I said, if he retires on the second Groves fight, I don't think he's done quite enough, in my opinion. But I had almost a complete 50-50 response of people saying, come on, he's definitely in, and people saying, yeah, you're right, I don't think he should be anywhere near it.
Don't you think a lot of it depends on what Groves goes on to do and what Ward goes on to do? If Ward goes on to beat Kovalev and be like the best fighter of all time, and Groves actually picks up a title and isn't completely dead.
The thing holding Froch back is he's never been the top dog at a weight, has he? I know he was only at one weight his whole career, but he never bossed it. He was never the top man in his division.
And also, he was never, a lot of it's about perception, he was never considered elite, was he? He was just this tough guy, and people were surprised when he kept winning. Do you know what I mean? Against those. And I remember the Americans were always sort of quite surprised that he stuck around so long, and, he got to the final of the Super Six and all this stuff. And maybe it's them underestimating him, but he never had that aura of being kind of an elite fighter, I don't think. I think he was always a kind of A- fighter rather than any higher. And that's no disrespect.
Jack just said Naz and Bo were elected this year, if you remember.
Yeah. Naz, Bo, and I forget the other one.
Yeah, I forget the other one as well. But
that was good. Yeah,
YouTube just said Naz and Bo. Trying to see if they've mentioned the other one, but
I think it might have been an Asian fighter, if memory serves.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah. Like one of the smaller guys who'd been on the list for about 15 years and had never managed to squeeze in.
Yeah, it was a very quiet. Yeah, that's why Naz got in, I think, because Naz has been on the list for fucking ages as well.
And there are people who are so opposed to Naz getting in. Like there are some Americans who just think he absolutely shouldn't get anywhere near it, and they would never have voted for him. I'll never forget Buncey's reaction, which was Prince Nassim Hamed, a great fighter and a great man, has got in. Someone responded saying, do you want to tell that to the family that he ploughed his Porsche into when he was driving at 110 miles an hour? Buncey just blocked them up straight away. Adios. It was amazing. A great man who ruined a family's life by driving at 110 miles an hour through his...
Shep, do you know you're talking Buncey there? I've just got a funny one from the other day. Obviously, Buncey's got zero sense of humour the rest of the year and can't take any jokes. He put on something about Hook and Afolabi and Eddie Hearn changing the times of the Quigg Frampton walk-in, saying that they've changed it so it doesn't clash with Hook Afolabi. And obviously everyone took it seriously and started saying, you fucking mong, blah, blah, fat mess, boiled egg, whatever. And then he was saying to them all, it's a joke, you idiots. Don't you have any sense of humour? I was thinking, how could he ever say that to anyone?
We've been following you for 3 years, Buncey, so no, we don't have a fucking sense of humour, yeah.
Oh, wait, that was last year, wasn't it? Fucking Naz. Hold on, I'm looking this up, sorry. It's fucking...
Yeah, look it up.
This year is apparently Hector Camacho, Lupe Pintor, and Hilario Zapata. And
that makes sense because Macho had a fight in 2000, and he was fighting up until he died. He was, he was doing a Duran. He was still fighting when he was 50 odd. So I think this is
Letterman and fucking Colonel Bob Sheridan got in as well.
Oh, not Colonel Bob. That's embarrassing.
I don't mind Bob. I don't think he's as bad as... I think he's got worse as he's got older, but back in the day he was all right.
You've got to take him as a joke. You've got to take him as a joke. Pinch assault. And I find him hilarious when she realises that he's just a fucking old man who does what he wants.
Yeah, but sometimes he will make a point. It's a bit like Ferdy Pacheco. Half the time they are just so biased and one-eyed. It's almost you can't listen to them. But then occasionally they'll come up with a little point about... And I'll never forget that Randall fight when he basically predicted the knockdown of Chavez. And Chavez has never been down. And and he sort of went, he's got to watch that punch because I can see that it's hurting him whenever it lands. And then a few rounds later, that same straight right hand knocks Chavez down. And people genuinely thought it was impossible to knock the guy down. And Pacheco did he spotted that quite early, and I think most fans wouldn't have done. But anyway, that's a great.
We'll end the Hall of Fame shit, but can we all just have a guess about out the British fighters that are current now? who's your pick to get Hall of Fame status when they've retired and obviously
Well,
5 years?
It's obviously a stipulation of like they're doing well
there
at the ending of their career, or
No, you could just pick
just
anyone
any active
now.
British fighter.
Yeah.
Are there any? I'm not sure if there are any who are worthy, to be honest.
We'll pick a little kid then.
At the
Who
end,
do you think's going to go on ahead and do it?
Campbell.
James De Gale, maybe.
Ricky Burns, Robert
Ricky-
Deacon.
DeGale, Burns, Deakin. What we
Deacon
all
will
want,
get in
Shep.
that category for non-fighters. What's it called? The category where like the sort of the novelty people get in.
Yeah, like Stallone and that.
Although it's far too early and I'm not sold on him, I think Joshua's got the most chance of getting in, to be honest. If he does actually turn out to be half as good as some of these monks say he is,
Yeah.
then
He's already
got a
turned
chance.
out not to be that good. He's already not as good as they say he is.
I know,
He's
but
not
he's gonna. I reckon he's gonna beat Martin. I think he's got that one in the bag. So he's already got a title, and you know people love the heavyweights.
Well, you're going to piss off a lot of people there by saying Joshua over Fury, who's actually won something.
Alex, do you know what? I'm going to say Fury.
For me to buy the big wheel on fucking Friday.
But
I
I reckon.
with Andy Cox and Matt Bowes, so I'm
Let's
not
say,
fighting.
Cal, I've got one for you. It's quite cynical, and I don't really like the answer myself as I'm saying it. But I reckon if he can come back and get another title on his last sort of run, I think Hay would be in the conversation in a few years' time
as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he's got the record across two weights, and if he can come back and let's say he comes back and actually beats, let's say he beats a Povetkin or something,
Or
someone
Fury.
like that for a
He
belt,
beats Fury.
then I think Hay might get in, maybe. Not that I've ever.
People do rate Hay as a really, one of the best cruiserweights ever. That's the thing. So I think
You've
You've
got to
got to really
remember
consider
who's
that.
voting for it, though, haven't you? And it's
Yeah,
sort of like
it's-
fucking-
Americans love Hay. They love him. They wish he was
Some
American.
do. Some do, but then others like the Fat Dan fucking idiot don't.
It's literally only Fat Dan because he's the one who loves the Klitschko's when all the other American journalists hate Vladimir and they want heavyweights who go for the KO and who are much faster like Hay. The Americans loved Hay back in the day. They really, really liked him, honestly.
What about then? Because it's obviously coming up around the corner. If Frampton schools Quigg, which I think he will, and then actually fights Rigo, and Rigo is a bit past it and he beats Rigo, then he'd definitely be in the conversation, wouldn't he?
We all know that the standards for Irish fighters getting in are very, very much lower than which is actually true, to be perfectly honest.
I'm just saying though that'd be a pretty impressive
if
role.
If he's
It wouldn't. I don't think he should get in off the back of that, but
well, not just
Well,
Quigg,
and
you
that-
have to beat
no,
He could
Rigo.
go up a division and do well in the division above as well, I think.
But he beats someone that's widely considered by the hardcore boxing fans as like one of the best pound-for-pound fighters at the minute, and then he's obviously going to have to go up a weight because he's quite tight at the weight. Then he does well up there. I think
Who would he have to beat at featherweight?
he wouldn't beat any of the champions at featherweight. He's not top.
Yeah, exactly. I
Too
just
small.
don't see it happening. Yeah, he's way too small.
What about what?
also-
You wouldn't pick him to beat LSC?
No.
Yeah.
I
You
would
would?
have picked him to beat Leo. I would have picked Frampton over Leo at super bantamweight, and I'd pick him at featherweight.
I don't know, because even when it was talked about, he's got long arms. Let's see.
What about
Who does
Russell? What about
Quigg?
Russell? Russell,
Frampton
like,
is so short though, Alex. He's 5'5".
I know.
He's the same height as Mares. We saw how tiny Mares looked against Santa Cruz. Do you know what I mean? He was like having to jump to reach his chin, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but Mares was fucking done by that fight. Come on, the fucking Gonzalez fight ruined him.
I think we
Yeah.
can all agree he'd lose to Lomachenko, and
Yes.
Selby would be too big for him.
Walters
Well,
would knock him out. Walters would be 20
yeah.
pounds heavier than him.
Walters had not Lomachenko.
Yeah, if you want to talk physical advantage, Walters would be the one you think, yeah, okay, that's a bit too much, but not Leo.
I don't
But a
know.
guy like Salido against Frampton. Salido would, I think he'd hurt Frampton quite badly, to be honest. He'd just bully him.
I'd like that fight.
You know what? Salido is a guy I would not want anyone I like. If you like a fighter, you don't want him to fight Salido. Because you've fucking no idea what's going to happen, really.
That's the fight that made me a massive Mikey Garcia fan because he was winning, schooling him, knocked him down 4 times, and then Salido just broke his nose anyway with his head, like completely deliberate. And then the fight got stopped, and he sort of smirked, and he was as if to say, like, Yeah, you might have beaten me, but I still managed to hurt you at the end. It's great fun.
It's a bit of a shame with Mikey Garcia, isn't it? But
It's because he don't.
Garcia will be back at some point.
He doesn't give a fuck about it.
No. It is a shame because he's a big good fighter, but
Robert Garcia said, "Oh, he'll be back this year," and then went, "Oh, he might not be actually," in the same interview. So you just.
I think it's the Chavez Jr. thing. He wants to fight once more for Top Rank, and Top Rank will only get him another fight if he signs an extension, along with it. And it's just this kind of standoff. And maybe eventually they'll be like, okay, we'll sign a 2-fight deal, or they'll reach some sort of compromise. Or someone will come along and buy, like Chavez Jr., they'll buy his contract out. I don't know. Maybe eventually his contract will expire, and then he'll be able to go to Heyman for free. I don't know. The contract can't be forever, can it? I don't know.
See, everyone gives Garcia shit about that, but that on the Bob side, that's still a bit shady. Like, well, your contract's up, but you can only fight again if you extend it. That's a bit naughty.
Well, I think it's the idea that maybe that's a clause in his contract that
if that is, that's fair enough.
Automatically extends along, Because if you look at guys who've left Heyman, who've left Arum, the only one I can think of where it just expired and he was allowed to leave freely was Cotto, because he'd been with him for about 10 years, hadn't he? And then he decided to go solo.
Yeah,
Boyd had to buy his contract. All the others had to buy their contracts out. Sorry, Sam. What were you saying?
Bob Arum was not happy about that either. He was fuming.
I think that's because he'd kind of made a mistake and created a kind of hole for Cotto to get out of,
Speaking of Bob raging, obviously he was raging about Rigondeaux, and we just got a question from YouTube saying, if Rigo doesn't get the big fights that he needs, will he get into the Hall of Fame as it is?
He's not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, 100%.
I don't think he will.
Yeah, of course. I'd vote for him.
I would. I'd vote for him fucking tomorrow. But
what if you got chinned against?
I think
Jazza Dinkins.
Jazza.
I'd still put him in.
I would, but I think
that win is good enough to get in.
Because he ages like that because he's like 50 odd now, and
it's not just that. I think you've got to look at the amateur side as well, though, which people always disregard, but then it's not been disregarded for other people before.
Because it's the professional Hall of Fame. It's not the amateur Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but then people got in on the Hall of Fame just on the back of their amateurship mainly before.
Also, you lot just said that Frampton needs to do more than just beat Rigo. So surely Rigo needs to do more than just beat a pound-for-pound top 3 fighter like he's done.
Well, if Frampton beat prime Rigondeaux, like Rigo beat Donaire, then I would probably have Frampton as my pound-for-pound number 1 fighter in the world. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think if Frampton does beat Rigondeaux, it will be like Hatton beating Zhu, where it's quite clear that the guy is past his best. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But I think
no one says Hatton should get in on the back that Costa Zou's a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? But no one says Hatton should get in because he beat Costa Zou. They know that it's kind of, you have to take it with a pinch of salt.
I think a lot of boxing, though, is when you get people, isn't it? Like, when you manage to catch them, and then you catch them just as they're on the slide, and you're just on your way up.
There's an art to that. I think Frampton and Quigg are quite clearly waiting until Rigo is half the fighter that he was at his peak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're doing what the middleweights are doing with Golovkin, aren't they? They're just trying to hope that he gets old overnight. But
I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I think the thing with the middleweights is that they worry about the damage they'll take if they lose to Golovkin, as well as just losing to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like losing to Rigo, you're just going to get humiliated. But losing to Golovkin, you could end up like Martin Murray, where for all we know that I mean, I'm sure that fight must have taken something out of him. Do you know what I mean? To take a beating like that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Guys, just moving on quickly. Before we do a proper Quigg Frampton preview and get our picks in, there are actually quite a lot of fights at the weekend. We've got Crawford against Lundy. We've got Verdejo on the undercard against a Brazilian lad. I can't remember his name, but he's another undefeated, prospect. We've got Hakkar Falabi 4. We've got Santa Cruz versus Martinez. We've got Ceja Ruiz 2 on the undercard of that, which was a great fight last year.
Yeah, that'll be a good fight.
If anyone has anything they want to say about any of those before we get onto the main course, then we can just do a free-for-all now. Is anyone looking forward to any of them? Is anyone going to watch any of them apart from the main one?
I want to watch Crawford.
Yeah,
don't give a fuck about Huck.
Yeah, I reckon you'll definitely stay up for that, mate. After you've been boozing for 9 hours,
Oh,
you'll
yes,
be wide
I
awake
will, mate.
at
I
5
will
a.m.
be
won't you?
on some strong gear, so I'll be wide awake. Don't you worry about it.
Pro Plus.
Yeah, you know it, brother. So yeah, anyway, not interested in Huck and Afolabi. Could not give a fucking toss about it.
See,
Crawford Lundy. I'll look forward to that one. Well, I am looking forward to that.
Hmm.
I like T-Dog. He's all right.
I think he's going to dominate. I don't think
Yeah.
Lundy's good enough for that level, especially now. He's taking some beatings as well.
Neither do I, but I enjoy watching Crawford because he's got boxing ability and he's got a bit of power as well, and he doesn't mind mixing it up. As soon as he gets hit, if he does get hit, then he just turns it up a gear, and the worst thing you can do is hit Crawford because he just comes right back at you.
Yeah, exactly. Every time he's been rocked, it's just sort of pissed him off, and he's piled the pressure on. He is good to watch, I agree. He's the sort of guy I'd pay to see if he was fighting in the UK, definitely.
but this might sound a bit hypocritical because of all the shit that we've slagged off on here and me before, but like, Lundy, I sort of don't mind him getting this fight, even though I don't think he should, because he's fought a load of tough fights against guys who people generally try not to fight and being mugged off a couple of times. So, in a way, it's like, yeah, it's nice for him to get a big fight, but he's gonna get beat pretty easily.
I think watching the Delorme fight with Lundy, I think although Lundy had a fucking shockingly slow start, I don't know what we're up with him. I thought Lundy won it down the stretch by a couple of rounds, and Delorme obviously got the fight against Crawford and got beat up, but I think Lundy's as tough as Beltran. I think he'll go the rounds, and it's 2-1 for Lundy to last and Crawford to win on points. So I think that's the bet.
I think the thing is, if Crawford wants to, I think he can knock out pretty much anyone in that division. If he wants to do it, you know what I mean? Apart from the Rickster, obviously, but he can knock anyone else out.
But I think the fact Lundy's being given in the verbals and shit, that might just spur him on that extra little bit.
Lundy's quite big though, and he's quite a stocky little fucking guy. I don't know. I think I've got faith in him. Like I was speaking to Carp earlier about it, and I said he hadn't been stopped, and Carp said he had, but I looked, and it was in 2007. In 2007, he's
only 11th round as well, late stoppage.
I mean, and he's had a lot of tough fights. It's not like he's just had like loads of bums after that, so he's not been knocked out for that. I think he can do the distance. I'm not sold on Crawford's power yet.
Wasn't it John Molina who knocked him out?
Yeah, in the same sort of comeback style. He was losing pretty much every round, and then he just caught him. That was a Friday Night Fights classic. That was. Atlas went absolutely mental. He was saying like, you've got to watch for the overhand right. He's got to watch for it, and then he got caught with it, and Atlas was just raging in the corner like, I told him. And he wasn't even in his corner, but he was just absolutely furious about it. He was like, look, why isn't his trainer telling him it's that one punch? He's just got to watch for that one punch, and he didn't do it. But,
changing the subject completely. Was it a Friday Night Fights when Mickey Bay got knocked out as well?
No, Showbox.
Like the last round or something.
Yeah, that was one of the main things.
Where Showbox. All the TMT guys are on Showbox. Great fight that was.
Yeah.
And then Jayleon Love against
Jayleon
Love against Porky as well. When he got knocked out, and then Farhood was just trolling completely. He was interviewing Mayweather, and he went. So in the last 6 months, we've had Jayleon Love get knocked out, Mickey Pay get knocked out, and who was the other lad from? Badu Jack get knocked out, all against unheralded opposition. He goes, Floyd, what do you think? And then Floyd gave him, one of those non-answers.
Two of them are world champs, baby.
Yeah, he literally said anything can happen in the sport of boxing, and Farhood just sort of rolled his eyes. But I think he was trying to wind him up. It was pretty funny. But we might see Porky against James DeGale now. I've heard that rumoured.
He's signed.
Oh, is it signed now? It is signed. Okay.
It was on Sky Sports, so. Well,
guy pulled out.
That fight's all right. Medina's tough. I think if DeGale could knock him out, that's a good statement. And also he can punch, so there's always a chance DeGale could get hurt. I think that's a fine fight, to be honest, as a sort of stay busy.
Yeah, it's going to be on the HA undercard, isn't it? So.
Yeah, that's fine by me. I mean, as an undercard fight, I'd pay to watch that.
And then that card, so. Then what's he doing then? So DeGale's fighting Porky, and then
he wants Jack. He wants Jack. He's talking about Jack for ages, but I don't know if I think Jack fight. Jack wants Chavez Jr. wants Jack, and that's being negotiated apparently.
Yeah, he may as well take that money because Jack will beat him up.
He will, but I just don't understand I don't understand how Chavez can make 168.
He won't, will he? He'll just pay the £1 million. He'll come in.
Yeah, but surely the only appeal of the fight is the belt. Otherwise, why would he want to fight Badou Jack? He's not like a big name. I don't understand. I think he's on the diuretics again or something, like he was,
But what big names are there around there that he can take where he's not going to get absolutely blitzed? Like Kovalev would kill him.
Hopkins would school the fuck out.
He would, but it would be a big fight, and he wouldn't get hurt, I suppose.
Someone asked Hopkins that the other day, you fighting Chavez, and he said, I don't fight at heavyweight.
He seems to think Chavez can barely make 175, and yet Chavez is apparently going to go back to 168. But he did say, I know he wants the Fonfara rematch, but Fonfara's going to get Stevenson. I think that's basically.
Well, that's apparently a bit of a bump because Fonfara were kicking off on Twitter yesterday.
Oh, really?
Oh, I've heard it's in negotiations. I don't know anything else.
He tweeted Yvonne Michel basically saying you're talking shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so might be worth keeping an eye on that.
Fonfara needs to just keep going because he's in a lucky position, which a lot of Americans aren't. He's actually got a fan base, so he will be able to get the big fights because the Poles will come out and watch him. And he's an exciting fighter to watch. So he just stands in the pocket and hits people and gets hit, doesn't he? So.
If he won a belt, they could just stick him in Chicago against absolute trash, and they'd sell 10,000 tickets every time, no problem.
Definitely.
So money for Heyman, yeah.
Oh yeah. He'd probably fight Kovalev as well. So.
Yeah,
he'd be a lot. Well, he's a lot smaller than Kovalev, though. If you actually.
Oh yeah.
He'd get. I think he'd get smashed in that fight.
I think him against Beterbiev would be the perfect fight as a final eliminator because them two are both kind of. I'd probably pick Beterbiev, but he's untested and Fonfara is tested. So
huge as well, though, mate. He fought cruiserweight in the amateurs. Beterbiev's massive.
Yeah, he's fucking.
He really boils down to.
He needs to get a big win on his record because I'm not sure if anyone's that. Obviously, he's a scary fight to take. I don't think people are taking him seriously purely because he's massive. They're not going to get paid that well for him because no one really knows who he is.
Yeah, speaking of this division, actually, it's been postponed now because of the Sturm and Spence postponement. But on the undercard of that fight was going to be Thomas Williams against what's his face, the guy who fought Andre Ward, Edwin Rodriguez, which is a fantastic, fringe contender. But that would have been a real kind of tear-up battle. It's a real shame that I only saw that this week, and it had sort of been announced. It's the bottom of the bill on that card for some reason. But it's a really, really good trade fight, as Eddie Hearn would say. But I'm looking forward to that one a lot when they reschedule it. That's a great. Maybe the winner could fight Beterbiev. I don't know.
Shep, why does it say Thurman Spence? Do you mean Thurman Porter?
Thurman and Spence, because obviously Spence Algeria, isn't it? It's been announced.
Oh, was it on the same card?
No.
No. Just I meant we could talk about Spence Algeria if anyone wants to.
Oh right.
Well, yeah,
a lot of people seem to like that fight.
I'm going to put some money on Algeria.
Yeah.
To
beat Spence.
How much money are you putting on?
20 quid. Nothing.
20 quid that you might as well just stick down the toilet, mate.
We'll see.
Put money on him to go the distance. I think that's the bet to make.
Oh yeah, Spence is not going to knock him up. I don't know. Spence has not fought anyone brilliant, and he didn't look great in his last fight.
He fought some B-level guys, and he's dominated them.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Algeria can make life difficult.
Well, what's Algeria done?
He robbed for Vodnikov, he got his shit pushed in with Pacquiao, and he won a few rounds against Khan.
No, I agree with that, but then what Spence does...
He's tough. Algeria's got a very, very good chin, I think.
Well, Spence is coming up.
Yeah. But we're just saying we don't know how good he's going to be. So
that's why this is a good fight.
Yeah, that's why it's a test for him.
That's why it's worth...
they've matched it because Spence is supposed to win, and he's supposed to look half decent against him.
I'm with Ainsley on this one because I know you just said he won a few rounds against Khan, but Khan had schooled Spence, so
I think it's worth it.
Khan had schooled Spence.
Yeah.
You think?
Ooh, yeah.
Really? I don't think Khan would want
Spence is shit. It's just another fucking African American hype job. They pick one out every year.
Here we go. Coming out now.
They're fucking terrible every single time. Thurman's shit. Spence
no. Right, all right. There's one measuring stick for Spence, and I agree with you that he hasn't really fought anyone yet. He fought Phil LaGreco, who drew with Porter back in the day.
Yeah.
And he did him in 3 rounds. He absolutely destroyed him.
But
No. Let me finish. Sorry, let me finish 1 sec. And then
Styles
he fought
make fights.
maybe. But he fought Van Heerden, who, do you remember at one point he was supposed to be Brooks
Frankie
mandatory,
Gavin. He was
and he
gonna
won
fight
every
Frankie
single
Gavin.
round. He destroyed Van Heerden. He stopped him in the 7th round or something. Won every round. And these guys are not terrible. They're kind of B-level, gatekeepers. And Spence is destroying them. He's not like scraping past them. He's absolutely destroying them, which I think, and he's not doing it with kind of one punch. He's systematically beating them down. And I think he's being overhyped a little bit, but I also think if he can do a job on Algieri, I think that's a really good.
This is my thing. If he fucking beats Algieri, if he stops Algieri, then it's like, oh shit. Brooke better dump that belt and go and run as fast as possible.
He needs to stop him, I think. Otherwise, I mean, beating him on points doesn't really mean anything to me.
No, well, you know where it does, because we'll see if he does the distance. Well, he doesn't like it, but I've been saying it in a minute. If I'm Brooke, I'd try and fight Spence sooner rather than later, just because we don't know how good he's going to be. But if he doesn't spark Algieri out, then he might as well just dump that belt. But I don't know. I think at 8-1, Algieri is worth a bit of a look.
I think he's worth a look to go the distance. I don't see how he can win. To be honest, I don't see how he can win. He can't punch. What's he going to do?
Yeah, but to be fair, as well, it's sort of making my own argument look a bit like piss. But Algieri wasn't great in his last fight against Eric Bone.
Bone Algieri?
Yeah.
Bone Algieri was a great. He was all right in that fight. I mean, Bone is okay. He did a few rounds. He's all right. He's a gatekeeper, isn't he? He's okay. I suppose. But Algieri has been matched quite tough, and to be honest, people forget about this because it was kind of a nice story. But I thought Provodnikov quite clearly beat him.
Oh yeah.
By about 4 rounds, and I thought that was a really bad decision. But no one seemed to mind because it was like a happy ending or something. So fans are such hypocrites.
But I think the best win, because I don't count Provodnikov as a win. I think the best win he's probably got is when he beat Taylor before he beat Provodnikov.
Yeah, that's a good win. Beating Taylor's a good win. Broner beat Taylor, and that's one of Broner's probably best 3 wins in his career.
But he beat him pretty convincingly. It was But I agree with the Provodnikov shit.
I had a message on Twitter saying from Dewey Powell saying that you're all talking shit about Fonfara. He doesn't sell very well at all in Chicago, and that he's absolutely massive compared to Kovalev.
Right. Okay.
Just want to chuck that in.
We'll look up their vital statistics later and measure.
He said
them
he was there for. Obviously, he was there for. He covers Welsh boxing. He was there for the Cleverly fight. Cleverly Fonfara. He said that Fonfara sold about 3,000 tickets in Chicago.
Yeah, but that's PBC though. They don't market the tickets.
Yeah.
PBC. Fonfara against. Sorry, Alex. Go back to him. Tell him Fonfara against who's
listening.
Campillo. That was about 10,000 tickets. They had that in a baseball stadium, for fuck's sake, and it was a huge crowd, all Polish, massive crowd.
Fonfara's 2.5 inches taller.
And he thinks that, or he said that Fonfara, looks absolutely fucking massive at 175, where he thinks Kovalev makes 175 relatively easy.
Right. Well, he's chatting shit now because
he's got 5-inch reach on him as well. Fonfara.
That 2 days. Sergey Kovalev was all about Kovalev having to sweat off the weight because he was really boiling himself down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a bad camp, but
because they told the camera to disappear.
Yeah,
he looked
made it look like Kovalev was like 178 on the day of the weigh-in, and he had to go and lose the last 3 pounds. Maybe it was a bad training camp, but it looked like he was kind of quite big for the weight. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he is tall. I've never actually seen them stood like.
Should we try not insulting our listeners? Chatting shit.
Our listeners are fucking.
No, the trick is we all insult different listeners, and they kind of turn against each other. Right?
Look, we're all a bunch of cunts, right? And our listeners must be massive cunts to be actually listening to us every fucking week.
They all hate Shep. It's pretty much unanimous.
They all hate Press Pass. Everyone hates Adam Smith. Everyone loves Brian for some reason, even though he is just a camp postman.
The cult of King.
Let's not get onto that.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll have Brian back next week after the fight.
He'll be listening now. He'll
He'll claim credit for the ratings going up after the big fight, as he always does. Anyway, any other fights people want to talk about before we just have a quick
I just want to give listeners I just want to give the listeners a bet that's going to win them loads of cash, right?
Go on.
So this is a treble. We've got Ola
This
Afolabi
Cow's tip,
because Hook is shot to shit. We've got Carl Frampton by unanimous decision, which is 11-4, which is the best bet I've ever
You're
seen.
going Ola, just any.
Yeah, Ola any. And then Terence
What odds
Crawford
are you getting on Ola, Cal? Sorry, just before you finish. Because I was going to put a bet.
6-4.
It's all right.
Carl Frampton UD is 11-4. I know the only problem with that is you get your spazzy judge, don't you, that sticks in a draw and he wins like 117, 111 twice, and then some knob gives it a draw. But I've got a bit of faith. They might get foreign judges. And then Terence Crawford points or decision is 27-1 for the treble.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good.
Bang
I probably pick those.
bang a tenner on it pays for your weekend almost.
What did you say about Crawford?
Crawford points.
Decision.
No, Crawford will
points
chin.
Frampton.
Crawford will chin Landy.
Yeah, I
Well,
think you're right.
He's
I think
49.
that'll be a TKO.
Yeah, I don't see London. I don't see London. I agree.
Right, well, we'll see.
Right, sorry, guys.
The MVP.
Sorry, yeah, this is Cal's knockout.
Put it on. Yeah, for free.
The Cal's knockout tips. Let us know if you take that bet and make any money off it. We're entitled to half of it as the ones who gave you the information. And Curtis Woodhouse gets 25% as well.
PayPal nextbigpod@gmail.com. Just send us half your earnings, and
What?
we're all good.
What we're actually going to be doing from next week is offering the same tips as Curtis Woodhouse. We'll be offering it for $7.50 a month.
Yeah. £1 less.
Oh no, it's
Sorry.
15, it's 15 quid a month. But the catch is with Woodhouse, you have to do 6 or 12 months. We will accept a 1 month rolling contract.
Well, I think the catch is to get
Sorry,
Woodhouse is to
you have to do 6 or 12 months with him.
Yeah, so it's a 6 or 12 months. So you
You
basically
have to what up front?
yeah. So it's either 90 quid or 180 quid.
Fucking Christ.
He had a 60-1 treble. He had a 60-1 treble up last
Yeah,
time.
I saw that. To be fair, he's fucking. They're rolling in it on that. To be fair, but
Well, just give it time. See what happens over the month.
yeah, that's taking the piss if you have to pay up front.
Yes.
12 months.
Yeah.
He's
The
only
whole point
doing this.
if he could if people could consistently make money doing that, every single person would do it. No one does it apart from Curtis Woodhouse, which I think tells you something. But anyway, yeah. So the last fight we haven't previewed yet is we haven't done what was it? Santa Cruz versus Martinez. If anyone wants to talk about that, completely irrelevant. Very funny that it's happening on the same day as versus Frampton.
Yeah.
I think almost ironic. I think this is almost kind of Showtime taking the piss out of Santa Cruz, to be honest.
Me and Cal were saying earlier on that Santa Cruz has got to look impressive, and if he's not, then everyone's just going to give him shit, aren't they?
I think Martinez can go the distance because Santa Cruz isn't a big puncher, and unless Kiko is completely done after that quick punch.
How
The
bad
volume
is that
of
going to make him
Cruz,
look?
isn't it?
I don't know.
I
I think if he gets the distance, it makes Quigg's win look better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
'Cause I just
Did anyone see that tweet earlier? I'll quote it for you about Quigg's. Quigg running from Martinez and then
Dave Allen.
swinging with his eyes closed and knocking him out doesn't mean he beats Frampton for me. Sums it up really, really well, I think. He looked absolutely shit scared in the first round, didn't he? And then he closed his eyes, threw a Danny Garcia punch, got lucky, and now everyone thinks he's going to win.
Because I can remember when I'm sure we were watching that live and we were talking about it, saying he looks fucking shit here, and then all of a sudden he just like sparks him.
Because he was getting pumped in that first
Yeah,
round.
because that was when Tom
He
was
running. He was literally running. He was like Kevin Mitchell against Barroso. He looked
Yeah.
he absolutely shit himself in the first round. And then to be fair, he got him. Maybe that was deliberate to lull him into a false sense of security. I don't think it was, but
no,
Martinez, an uppercut, didn't he, and got
It was a
absolutely
peach of a shot.
yeah.
and he finished him impressively, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But it was a famous Tom prediction. Like, after the first round, Martinez going to knock him out here, and then he got smashed.
No, but it was. I mean, it was a massive turnaround because I think Quigg undoubtedly lost the opening round quite clearly, and then one punch changed it. And like I said a second ago, if Frampton walks onto that punch, he'll get knocked out as well. So, there is a chance, but I can't see Frampton making that kind of mistake.
Well, he's not going to come forward for a start, I don't think, Frampton. I mean, obviously, we're on this discussion now, I suppose. This is
let's
Quigg
go
versus Frampton discussion now. Enjoy, chat. But yeah, I don't think Frampton will do that. He's not going to come forward. He's not going to try and engage Quigg because that's Quigg's only chance.
Yeah.
But Quigg can box on the back foot, mate.
Don't underestimate his thinking brain.
Bill Gallagher bend him to box on the back foot.
Then no cunt's going to get fucking punched. Because Frampton's going to be on the back foot. Quigg's going to come forward. I think that, the trademark Tesco Joe strategy is to, fuck about for the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then obviously wait for Frampton to tie, and then go blitzing on him in the last 6. And, makes you think, he might just do that again for this fight. But
do you know what's really fucked me off?
But has Frampton ever gassed in a fight at championship level? I can't think of one. He's pretty fit, and he's got a very, very good engine. Quigg has as well, to be fair, but I can't see anyone kind of getting exhausted, in the way that I'm thinking John Thompson as a perfect Gallagher game plan. The guy moves for 6 rounds, and then he gets knackered, and Liam Smith just chins him. That's what Gallagher would do in every single fight if he could.
Well, yeah, they did it against Salinas with Quigg, didn't they? And it backfired, but...
Yeah.
And they do that with Frampton.
I can't see Frampton gassing unless Quigg is banging him to the body with the left hand.
He's not Kell Brooks yet.
The thing...
He's something like Kell Brooks.
Is it fucked
That's how he talks. He goes up at the end of every fucking sentence. It drives me mad.
He's from Bury, not fucking Sheffield.
No, he's Irish, Joe Gallagher.
Irish. Sligo, they've taken an L this week.
Yeah, he's trying to get the Irish fans on board, isn't he? Oi, Irish lads.
What was that?
Sligo's a shithole anyway. Fuck them.
Not like Cork, is it?
Is it fuck? Cork's
Where were you
most
born and
beautiful
raised
place in the world.
again, Cal? Which Irish province?
I was born in Cork.
Can you name any Irish provinces?
Cork.
Kildare. Kilkenny.
Oh, Sheffield.
Is Derry one?
To be fair, I can't really remember anything. I've been back, obviously, since I've grown up, but I was in Sheffield by the time I was like 1.5, so.
Unlucky.
I can say I'm Irish. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Out of the
Mo
frying pan
Farah's English.
You ain't Irish or Sheffield Steel, really. You're like old Johnny Nelson.
Guys, has anyone noticed on the subject of Nelson how tight his shirts are getting? I don't know if he's putting on muscle, but his shirts are getting smaller and smaller.
I actually know what that is. I actually know why that is. I can reveal it now.
I don't spend long time staring at Johnny Nelson's chest, thank you. But
so what it is, I don't know if you've noticed, but he's gone into partnership with Ryan Rhodes with this gym, yeah?
right.
Ryan Rhodes has stole all of his money, so he's having to wear them.
Pow.
Allegedly.
He's having to wear Eddie Hearn's old clothes. Yeah.
I just want to talk about their gloves. Not gloves are off, behind the ropes. Did it fuck anyone else off that they're just making this big deal out of how much Quigg likes training and how dedicated he is?
Yeah.
He shags his mum.
Yeah, they're making it seem like Frampton just instead of training sits at home stuffing his face with fucking mini rolls. Like you get people, you see it, people commenting on it like, oh, if Frampton doesn't like training, how can he possibly win? Fuck off! Of course he's training.
They need an angle, don't they? Quigg has no personality. They've got to invent something. I mean, the guy.
Did you see Shane McGuigan's post about it? I think it was a couple of days ago. He was having a moan about, obviously, I haven't seen Behind the Gloves, but going off of what people have been saying, he was moaning, saying, oh yeah, there's obviously a bias slant. The guy who edits Behind the Gloves, we've seen him rolling about with a Gallagher's Gym t-shirt and fucking Team Quigg hat rolling about. So he wasn't particularly happy saying, obviously, there's clear bias.
That's the problem with all these shows, though, isn't it? There's agendas before they start.
It must be tough. It must be tough for for Barry McGuigan's son, dealing with that horrible media bias against him. Right? What a poor bastard, Shane. He's had it all his life. Yeah. Sorry, go on. We can discuss McGuigan in a bit.
Just about the fight, quickly. We're obviously going. I want it to be a good fight. but I want Frampton to win, and that'd be easier, being a bit of a boring fight. So I'm not quite sure. Obviously, as I'm going, I want it to be a fucking absolute classic, and Frampton to get knocked down in first, all the Mongs go absolutely wild, and then Frampton to stop him in the 11th or something.
Here's a question for all of you guys going, because obviously me and Alex will be at home, like gentlemen, watching it illegally. But for like real fans, we'll be not paying for it and staying at home. For all you guys who putting your money where your mouth is and going to the stadium, would you prefer it to look like the second Martinez fight, where Frampton puts on a great display, and maybe a few days after the fight, you'll be like, actually, do you know what? That was brilliant. But at the time, you might be sort of praying for a knockdown. Or do you want it to look like let's say Quigg Martinez, but Frampton is Quigg, you know? So he just
I want a war.
Well, sorry?
I want a war. I know I'm not going to get one, but I want a war, like blood, guts.
Yeah, I just can't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Because I'm not. I don't really care. I'm going as a neutral. I prefer Frampton to win because Tesco Joe's a prick, and that's the only reason I'm favouring Frampton. Other than that, I don't really care. I just want it to be an interesting fight, but I don't even think it's going to be that.
I'm the exact same as you. Because I was like leaning towards Frampton for ages, but I'm not really to the last now. But it's just Tesco will do my head in afterwards. He will really do my head in afterwards if Quigg wins.
But it's win-win. It really is. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm genuinely a neutral. You know, I'm not from the north of England, and I'm definitely not Irish. And I'm really neutral on who wins. I think they're both decent but not great fighters yet. And I think yeah, like you, I just want a good fight. But if Quigg loses, then we can all laugh at Gallagher and Hearn, which is brilliant. And Hearn might have a little meltdown and sort of he gets quite personal, quite nasty when he's annoyed, despite pretending that he's this nice guy. He might start giving it back to the fans a bit. You'll see all of the Gallagher gym boys complaining and sort of spazzing out. But if Frampton loses, all of those Irish casuals will have an absolute meltdown, which would be brilliant as well. And I said the other day, I haven't found a single Irish boxing fan, who's picking Quigg. Which to me is a bit mad, because it's not. I mean, whilst I think Frampton's the favourite, it's not a complete. It's not Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. Do you know what I mean? There are no Irish picking Quigg, and they will go mad if he loses.
There's like an Irish Boxing News put an article out, like prediction of a day, and I was like, well, why the fuck have you even done that?
Yeah, what's the point? What's the point
like
of predicting?
60 people, and every single one's like, oh, Frampton. I think one person might pick Quigg.
I haven't seen any Irish person pick Quigg,
yeah.
Which I think shows you A, how biased they are, and B, how much of a meltdown they're going to have if he loses.
I think it's definitely a closer fight than people give it credit.
To be fair, are they being biased or not? Because how many's on here? 5 tonight? All of us 5 are picking Frampton.
But
so
are we all? Have we called it yet?
I want to just throw something out there though, and it gets overlooked a bit, but everyone goes on about how big the win's worth of Frampton over Martinez, right? But fucking Quigg smashed Renal Monroe, who beat Martinez before. I know triangle theories don't work, but that's an underrated win.
Yeah, but Rendell was done then.
He wasn't that done, and that was just after he'd fought. Fucking hell, I forget his name. He'd fought for the title out in Japan. It was just after that, and he went to points for then. Then he smashed him.
Amagasa, wasn't it? No, not Amagasa.
No, not Amagasa.
Haskins fought, wasn't it?
Nishioka.
Oh, Nishioka. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he'd come back, he'd had a couple of, and then he stopped him. So that's like a. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's the Ataki and fucking Salinas fights that say it all to me.
Yeah.
And Quigg don't have it his own way. He's so one-dimensional.
And the Wake fight. Do you remember the Wake?
I know it's said a lot about him being a bit of a spaz, but all he did against that Ataki was keep Ataki just kept standing there, walking, just getting punched in the face. And he never did anything else the whole fight. I was just that were on a pay-per-view undercard. I was thinking he needs to make a statement here, because obviously that was before he had a good win on his record. It was just fucking embarrassing, one pace, shite.
I think it's a really good
so
point.
Much cuter on him.
If Quigg can't hurt Frampton, he has no chance. There's no way he's going to win, because we saw, do you remember that Wake fight when after about 3 rounds, Jim Watt was like, yeah, Quigg should really be knocking this guy out because he's hitting him with everything. And
he said he busted out.
Varying the game plan up a bit, but he didn't, and it went 12, and it was like 12 rounds of just, and he never lost a round. But like, if he can't get rid of guys like that, then I think if he can't hurt Frampton, he's got absolutely no chance of winning it.
Yeah, and he's hit someone with a lucky punch, well, a good punch, but he was quite lucky, and he's got knocked out. And now, like the Matchroom fans are acting as if Quigg's some pound for pound puncher. He's gone rounds with people. Salinas got knocked out like 2 fights later off someone that I'd never heard of. Like, it's not like he's fucking. He was knocking out everyone before that, and then he's actually beat someone who was decent. He was struggling with guys that are shit.
I think the truth is probably somewhere in between, isn't it? I think Quigg is a decent puncher, but he's not Donaire, is he? He's not like a prime Donaire in terms of power. Like, if this was Donaire versus Frampton, we'd all be saying, right, if Frampton can stay away from that left hook, he can win. It's not. I think Frampton. He doesn't want to walk onto a shot like Martinez, but I think he can take Quigg's power.
But I think Frampton can hit. I don't think there's much in it between punching power. Frampton can hit hard.
Yeah, but he won't be as offensive, will he? I think that's the thing. Quigg will really.
Hitting off your back foot's obviously a bit harder to generate power, but like I don't think Quigg will just be walking him down thinking I'm not worried what's coming back, because Frampton definitely punches hard enough to keep you honest. So
yeah,
I think.
Well, Avalos shit himself when he felt the power, didn't he? In the first round, he wanted nothing to do with it. He just for the next fight.
Got released by his contract the other day. Avalos from Top Rank.
Yeah.
After 6
But then Avalos got smashed out, didn't he? So.
That'll be Quigg's first defence if he wins. Avalos, I bet you.
Yeah, but Valdez is good though. Sam.
Will be.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But, and Avalos
and he's a
few
featherweight
ways to take that fight, didn't he? Yeah.
Does anyone think the fight doesn't go the distance?
I don't know.
Great answer. Cheers, mate.
This is all I hope.
Go in the distance. That's it. I'll commit.
Yeah.
I think I've got to go Frampton points, about an 8-4-9-3 type.
Yeah, that's what my guess. 117.
But it's the thing is, if that's what you think, there's also the case to make if it's late on, Quigg's gonna have to go for it, and is he just gonna walk onto something and get put into next week?
Yeah. What I really want to happen is Gallagher to look like a fucking one-trick pony that he is, and after 7 or 8 rounds, Frampton's winning like 6-1, 6-2. And he's just like saying things like hit him or chase him, doing the corner like looking proper out of his depth when he's actually fighting someone.
I think he'll need a plan B at some point, and I've never seen any evidence that Gallagher has a plan B in a big fight. So it'll be interesting. I mean, maybe he'll prove us wrong. You know, he's kind of proved us wrong in the past with certain fighters.
He has in the sense, but like the Crawler fight, he didn't need a plan B because Colombian guy were quite shit. And then
Crawler versus Murray. He had a good game plan, Crawler versus Murray, because I thought Murray would win that fight. I think I bet on Murray. And I think this fight could look a bit like that, with Quigg being Murray and Crawler being Frampton. I think it could look similar to that. But I do think it's Frampton's to lose in the sense. I think if he boxes to his best, I think he can. I don't think Quigg can beat him. Sam, what are you saying?
Frampton wins. Like Ainsley, I think if Quigg is a bit wild, I think he's going to get stopped late on. But other than that, it'll just be a unanimous decision.
I just
like
hope
10-2, 9-3, something along them lines.
But all I don't really give a shit who wins, but I just don't want no fucking bullshit where someone gets stopped because they've fucking slipped a little bit.
Oh, I've got a cut. He'll get a cut when he's 10 rounds down, and then Hearn will say, well, we've got to have a rematch.
Yeah, or fucking some bullshit where there's just some shit card.
He twisted his ankle in the 3rd round. It's a rematch.
Whatever happens, just needs to be the right result, and there's no bullshit attached to it, because it's going to fucking do my head in. If there's someone
I don't want a rematch. I don't care. Even if it's close, I don't
thing.
care. I just want them to fuck off and fight someone else. Yeah, I don't want this shit again. Another year of build-up, not purse splits. Yeah, I agree.
That's it. I don't care like if it's Quigg or if it's Frampton. Just fucking whoever should win deserves it. Fucking gets it. No.
And then and then they can get back to ducking Rigo.
But what I fucking do want as well, so I don't, again, whichever side, I don't want the fucking other side just coming out with some bullshit excuse after, like, oh, well, we fucked the weight, or he had an injury. It's fucking tough shit.
What do we think the excuses will be if, let's say if Frampton loses? What's your excuse if Frampton
loses? It'd be the weight.
Yeah, okay, I think that's right. McGuigan will go straight for the weight, and Barry will start to say, well, it's ridiculous that we couldn't have the fight in Belfast, blah, 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 and they'll start playing that. All the Irish will defend it, 100%.
And Quigg will just say that hand again.
No. Quigg will say he's overtrained.
Yeah, but he said
He
there's
said
no
it's
such thing as
overtraining.
overtraining.
Or he'll say he'll say it's
Yeah.
one of those injuries that you can't disprove. Like, oh, I had like it was a tendon or something that you can't see. Do you know what I mean? Or his toe, maybe. Imagine if someone dropped the toe excuse. That'd be amazing.
Oh my god! Imagine if Frampton dropped it now. Hayes in the camp. Oh,
Oh dear, that would be
great.
ultimate trolling. Alex, what's your prediction, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I've picked Frampton pretty much even before the fight was obviously being made and obviously talked about, but certainly before it was ever coming to fruition. I just think that he's a far superior boxer. I have noted that I think that not Quigg necessarily, but fucking Tesco Joe and Eddie Hearn, they really get on Frampton's nerves, and I think they really get in his head and wind him up. I think he's very susceptible to folk winding him up, and so is McGuigan, and I think that maybe that might play a part. Maybe he'll get a bit too incensed and things like that, but I think maybe the crowd, which will probably be partisan for Frampton, I mean, from what we've seen and what most of us think predicted, is going to be a pro-Frampton crowd, but I think there'll be quite a few Eddie Hearn bum sniffs to back up Quigg there. I think that if they manage to get into Frampton's head, we see who was it? Frank Sinclair, that little fucking spat they had on Twitter.
Trevor Sinclair.
Was it Trevor Sinclair? Was it?
No. It was Frank. It was the Chelsea player, the bald guy.
Yeah, I mean, that spat was a little bit stupid, but I think that I think Frampton. I'm not saying he's weak-minded, but he's certainly he's passionate and he gets a bit, like I said, incensed by it, and if he gets too overly involved in that and wanting to say, well, I'm going to fucking bang this cunt out, then that gives Quigg opportunities. And what Frampton just needs to do is box, smart. He needs to use his thinking brain, to quote Quigg, and he'll piss it. I think that we might just see an absolute fucking schooling, potentially from Frampton, but I'd like it to be competitive. Obviously, just like Carp, I want to see a war. I want to see fucking them proper go at it, but if there's any sense involved in this fight, then Frampton will just box his fucking cock off.
Yeah, you hope he doesn't get drawn into it with the crowd. I know what you mean about. I think Frampton gets him and his camp being kind of sort of semi-independent. They get absolute sick of that little Sky kind of the little Sky universe, where it's just bullshit. Has replaced gravity to make everything move. And I'll never forget when who was it? Who's the commentator? Nick Halling. Like when he said, "Forget Scott, Quigg versus Frampton. I'd like to see Galahad versus Frampton. Hashtag the kid wins it for me." And it was just like, and you had all these fans saying like, "Oh, like basically jumping to conclusions, being like, oh yeah, I bet Frampton wouldn't take it though, would he? Like as if Frampton's going to duck like this British level nobody." And Frampton it really pissed him off. You could tell. He was like, yeah, Halling, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. It's like every word you say is bought and paid for, basically. And I do think it pisses him off. I think you're right. And you never know. It could play into his head. We saw what happened when he was distracted in his last fight, right? Didn't work out too well.
Yeah, but I don't know, because Quigg's probably not had this sort of atmosphere, occasion before, has he? And Cole had that fight in Belfast when he fought for the title, and there's all those people there. So
yeah, Quigg's never even headlined a show.
Yeah. I know this is
a proper show. It's crazy to think, isn't it?
So I think Quigg might lose his arsehole, but I think Frampton would be fine with it.
I don't think Quigg ever gets bothered by things. I just think he's a bit too simple-minded.
He's too thick to worry about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't get asked, but I mean, he blocks people on Twitter because he just thinks, well, what's the point? There's no point arguing. He doesn't get wound up by it. I've never seen him rag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like Paul Smith will fucking, we've obviously promised people a bit of a Paul Smith rant here, but Paul Smith, he goes out and he says, oh, I'm not bothered by it. Then he'll go off on a fucking 20-minute rant calling people cunts and ugly bastards and fat bastards and all the rest of it.
Did you see that one earlier about someone had asked him, what was it? It was literally completely innocuous. Oh, it was Foz had retweeted like Paul Smith's return being lined up for April. Eyes Sturm fight afterwards. Some boxing scene thing. And some guy just replied, what's he done to earn a title shot? A genuine question, completely fair. And Smith tweeted him tweeted him, blocked him immediately apparently, then tweeted him twice with photos of the guy that Smith had dug up from his profile, basically saying like, "Look at your teeth." And it's like, that's kind of funny if you can you can get away with that if you're giving it and taking it back. Do you know what I mean? If you're kind of bantering with the fans. But like, Smith has absolute zero tolerance to anyone who disagrees with him, and yet he'll go out of his way to...
This has been said about Smith before, though.
Yeah.
He's not just him, even his mates will go trolling, not even just Twitter, just any sort of social media or any sort of pitch they can get and throw it back at him, which is a bit fucking weird. But I think the true fight on Saturday might end up being between Barracks and the Jackal's Den, the battle of the two fucking idiot Twitter accounts.
Barracks is amazing. I think I've muted him because he hasn't. I think I might have accidentally muted him. He hasn't
I think he's gone quiet. He's gone quiet recently in the lead up to the fight.
He's been busy training, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he's got Quigg. Yeah.
The spelling's too good to be Scott.
There is some shockers about I get like there's a lot of trolls online. I think Tommy's trolling with all his Quigg stuff every day. I think he might believe it, but he's obviously trolling to the extent of what he
Quigg died 6 rounds. That was his.
Yeah.
I think Tommy's trolling here. He does think Quigg's going to win, but he's only doing it because it pisses off so many people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think, but like people like that, they're joking. But the ones that are absolute fanboys, as in, like whatever the man does, they would not say it's bad. Like, and they're the kind of fans that are just fucking annoying because. Like after the fight, it doesn't matter to them what happens in the fight. Their man will have won, and it will have been a robbery, or he will have been injured. I hate all that. You take the good with the fucking bad, and if your guy don't do well, you just say, "Oh, well done to Quigg." In this case, like,
it's the same in every sport, isn't it? It's not just a boxing thing. Like you get football fans who have their excuses weeks ahead of a game, or excuses prepared, and they just will not accept anything apart from the narrative. And yeah, you're right. There'll be loads of Irish fans who will have the excuses lined up, and who will who will say who will go defensive if Frampton gets knocked out. When really what they should do is say, "Well done, Scott Quigg. Maybe we can have a rematch down the line. Well done." Like
you're better off. I never get the whole slating the opposition after you've lost. I think you should be bigging them up. Saying that Quigg's a fucking, obviously if this happened, saying Quigg's an unbelievable puncher, like he'd never felt power like it, as opposed to slacking him off saying he got unlucky. It's a bit like
that quite a lot when fighters have ended their careers. Like, do you know those ring interviews they do, where they do it's called the best I've fought, where they get a fighter and sort of ask them like who was the best mover, who had the best jab, who had the best right hook from their career. They're usually quite interesting, but the guys. The choices they make are so tactical. They will always pick a guy from a fight they won as being the biggest puncher. They'll never pick a guy who blew them out. Do you know what I mean? And it's just
this is why I've liked Hopkins recently. I didn't used to think Hopkins. I thought he were a bit of a dick, but since the Kovalev fight, he's got nothing but good things to say about Kovalev. Like every time he has an interview, he's like, he's an absolute great fighter, and he's actually a good man. Like, and he could have easily jumped on the racist bandwagon and started slating him, saying he got lucky and he weren't. Do you know what I mean? And I think Hopkins
tried that before, hasn't he? He tried it with Calzaghe. He tried it with the guys. Who was it? Chad Dawson and John Pascal and stuff. He had all sorts of excuses after those fights.
I think he's grown up though. Finally, at 76.
Like Bellew's grown up as well, kind of. I don't know if it's an act. We'll see. But
no, but Bellew grew up when he came on the next big pod. We mellowed him.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, he has been better, hasn't he? It's like it's definitely noticeable. He's kind of calm.
His interview after the Masternout fight, he come across really well.
Yeah,
and because the fight was pretty shit, wasn't it? But he just said he's probably not good enough to win a world title, but he wants to do
But still, it's one of his best wins. And then you get a year later, Bellew's an idiot in a lot of ways, but Bellew did earn his mandatory position. Like he beat some contenders in the top 10. And you'll joke about Isaac Chilemba, but Isaac Chilemba is a legitimate top 10 guy in the division, and Bellew did beat him. He earned his spot. Paul Smith fought 2 6-rounders against a guy with 12 fights and a guy with a losing record. And then he got the Abraham fight. And then after the Andre Ward fight, I was thinking about this the other day. Is it possible for Paul Smith to have performed any worse in the Andre Ward fight? I mean, generally, in terms of preparation, in terms of his game plan, in terms of his performance. I don't think there's beyond kind of. I don't know, like taking a dive. I don't think there's any way he could have been any more embarrassing for British boxing and for the fans who'd gone out there. Like, it was the worst, in every sense, it was the worst possible performance. Like, did he land a power punch in the entire fight?
No, I think that was just one where he was just so out of his depth when he got in the ring. Sometimes it happens, doesn't it? They can talk good, and then it's just.
But he tried to cheat. He tried to blow off the weight because he thought that would give him an advantage. It's quite obvious that he deliberately came in way heavy, because now he's got no problem making 168 to fight Sturm, apparently. But yeah, it's the attitude of that tweet he said where someone asked if he was going to retire in January, and he went, "No, I'll have a couple of 6 or 8 rounders, then back to title level." And it's just like,
but the thing is, what's his best win? Like, has he beaten anyone?
Dodson.
Right, so Dodson's his best win.
British title. That's his best win. British level.
Because I the other day, didn't I said something daft in the WhatsApp, like I'd rank him like 25th best, not thinking about his record, just thinking about who he's lost to.
Yeah, we slated you for that.
Yeah, you can't even really put him in the top 50 at 168.
No, you can't. He hasn't got a win against anyone in the top 50. And they're talking. Eddie Hearn is going to have to give them a lot of fucking money to get Smith ranked in the top 15. I tell you, honestly.
If he gets Sturm though, like, has there ever been a fighter who's had 3 world title fights and a shot against a top 5 pound for pound guy who's as bad as Smith ever in any country? It can't be.
Apart from people who are kind of used as stepping stones for prospects, I don't think so.
It'd be impossible because
he is. Someone like Darnell Boone I think he'd smash Smith. To be perfectly honest, that would be a good fight. I wouldn't mind that. But like, you could just he's got no interest in fighting guys like Fielding or guys like Martin Murray. He genuinely thinks he's above them, and it's the delusion and the dishonesty that makes people so angry, and how rude he is to people who disagree with him.
I wouldn't be against Murray versus Smith.
No, I wouldn't.
That'd be fine, but Murray would smash him, and Smith.
Yeah, would he? Would Murray smash?
Yes.
Murray would win every single round.
Ainsley, your hatred for Murray is absolutely outrageous. You've had it for too long. He's fucking. He
wouldn't knock him out. He wouldn't knock him out. When I say smash, I'm probably misspeaking a bit. Murray would win almost every round, I think.
He's not going to knock him out, I don't think.
No. Paul does have a good chin for whatever else he doesn't have. He has got a decent enough chin. But we forget, like, if you look at the other champs at 168, who have you got? You've got Sturm, you've got Abraham, who beat Smith twice. You've got De Gale, who won every single round against Smith when he was like a 10-0 prospect. And you've got Groves, who knocked Smith out in 2 rounds. So it's just like, how can he possibly put himself in that bracket? And like, these guys who are backing him up, like, oh yeah, I can't wait for another Germany trip, Smigger. It's just like, are there football fans who say, who tweet, I don't know, Oxford United players saying, yeah, you lot deserve to be back in the Premier League where you belong? Like, it's mental. That is what they're doing. It's absolutely mental. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, people tweeting Nicholas Bentner saying, yeah, you should be in the Real Madrid team, mate. It's all politics.
I think because boxing's kind of like a bit of a niche sport, like, some of these fans think they're actually mates with the guys, the real Mongi guys, because they kind of do get a bit of response back to them, and they can go and have a picture with them if they want, because nobody would know they were if they walked up the high street. So they kind of actually think that they're like part of it, and I think that's how they get like proper Mongi with them. Because obviously, if you see a Premier League footballer, they don't talk to anyone; they just walk on by because they don't have time. But I think these guys like all the like patting on the back. Boxers need like constant self-fucking people telling them, "Yeah, you're really good. Yeah, you're really good."
Yeah, it's a low sport, I suppose.
Carl Froch was so like that before the second fight. He just like constant reassurance that he's going to beat. And obviously, he did a good job, but I just think mentally, boxers seem to be quite fragile.
I always felt like Froch would be the sort of guy, if you saw him in Tesco, say, and you went up to him and went, "Are you Carl Froch?" He'd probably act like, "Yeah, who wants to know," sort of thing. And you'd take a picture with him and he'd be maybe a bit standoffish, but that would make his day. Like, in his head, that would make his day. Even if he would never show it. Do you know what I mean? Like, being recognised and being...
One of the things I always remember about Carl Froch is not, it wasn't even to do with boxing or something. It was Sky Sports News. They was doing this thing for like sick kids and that. And one of them, he was a big boxing fan, like loved boxing. So they took him behind, like to the dressing room after Froch Groves 1 or 2. I can't remember what one. And anyway, this kid's like so happy he's met one of his idols. And Carl Froch, his exact words were, "This kid's so happy to meet a 3-time world champion." like He's just an idiot. And he went, I'm
like a shield, isn't he? That he
yeah,
puts
he went,
up whenever he talks
I'm a 3-time world champion, and this means a lot to me as well. It's like, fuck off, Carl, you're an idiot.
But I do think that's something that that boxers tend to do maybe more than other athletes, where they have to have that kind of protective shield up at all times and be in that kind of, I'm a machine, not a man sort of mode. Where Froch is like, I'm not a human. I'm a 3-time world champion. Like he has to be like that, whether he's in the ring or whether he's sort of, picking up a newspaper on a Sunday morning. Like he's always got.
I think boxing's like the one sport though where it is proper. You finish, and then you are literally forgotten about almost instantly. Like how many people went to see Mayweather in Sheffield? About 50 people. Do you know what I mean? And he was the biggest star in the last 20 years in boxing. Like boxing's one of them things where they have their big fight, they have their moment, and then everyone's just looking for the next star. No one cares.
Yeah, to give you a really good example, like I reckon, I'm trying to think of a Sheffield United player, someone like Chris Morgan. I reckon I would recognise him if I saw him walking down the street. And I'm not a Sheffield United fan, and I've never been to see him play. And he wasn't, he's not a superstar or anything, but I would recognise him. Whereas you see, there could be boxers who've won multiple world titles. Someone like I don't know, what's a good example? Someone like
Paul Butler, let's say, in 20 years time.
Like an elite level fighter won world titles, or Tete or someone like that. They just never get recognised. And if they retired, it'd be a million times worse. Mayweather might get recognised.
Do you not even think like people like Roberto Duran could walk through, I don't know, say like Bath now and not be stopped by random people because they just wouldn't have a fucking clue who he was or wouldn't know what he looked like now?
I think they'd only recognise him if he had like a couple of big sort of bouncers with him or something, and then they might sort of look twice. But
then you could get someone same sort of age footballer, I don't know. Not even a footballer.
Yeah, you could get like a League Two footballer who could walk through a city that doesn't even have a football team, and kids would recognise him. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I reckon Tommy Hearns could walk down my street now and no one would recognise him. And he's like, well, because he's sort of a bit older and a bit fatter now, but he's like one of the most famous fighters of the last 100 years. And the only ones who'd get recognised are guys like Tyson and maybe Ricky Hatton.
Ali, but he wouldn't be walking anywhere now, would he? He'd be rolling.
Rolling, yeah.
They see me rolling.
I think you recognise the ones with like obviously facial tattoos, but you realise you'd recognise Lennox Lewis, like, because not many. You look at them people twice anyway, because you think, why is he so fucking big?
Do you reckon your mum would recognise Lennox Lewis if like he was walking down the street?
Yeah, she likes boxing, but I know what you mean.
I reckon all our mums would recognise Frank Bruno. That's about the only one.
Yeah, definitely. They just carry themselves a bit different, don't they? As well, heavyweights. They're just big and think they're hard.
What about Wilder? Imagine this, but not Wilder with kind of a crazy suit and huge sunglasses on. Wilder just wearing a tracksuit, going into a fucking Asda in Manchester.
Is he shouting Bomb Squad? Or
no. He's quietly picking up.
I doubt I'd fucking recognise him. I was like, that guy looks like Deontay Wilder. I wouldn't go, that's Deontay Wilder. I said, that guy looks a bit like him.
If you saw Deontay Wilder and Stavern like in a McDonald's or something, you just wouldn't go in. You just think they're after someone. They've got a gun.
Racial stereotyping again.
You go across the
big wheel, 6 o'clock.
Enzo and Joe Calzaghe too. Lads, come and help us out. We've got some wrong-uns at McDonald's. Yeah. It's a funny one because I'm sure there was someone that I saw recently. I think it was either an ex-footballer or like an actor from like EastEnders, sort of, a sort of minor EastEnders actor, and they were getting stopped as I noticed it was them, like just on a high street. And it was someone like a sort of defender from the 90s, and you're like, how do people remember this guy? Like he played like 2 seasons for Charlton in the mid 90s, and he's getting stopped in the street like to buy groceries, and yet you can be a former, someone like Ray Mercer or Tommy Morrison. Like, okay, bad example. You probably would recognise him, but I don't know. A guy like Larry Holmes would never get recognised in the UK ever, and he was world champion for 10 years. Crazy.
No, yeah, it is a sport where you're there and then you're forgotten. So I do get why these fighters like to remind everyone of how good they are, because people do actually forget.
Yeah,
like very quickly. People
remind us all how good he is. Yeah. by
He
fighting.
can shut the fuck up, but I mean, like Froch, I don't mind. Like when Froch did that with Mayweather, I found it hilarious. I like that. He's just like an arrogant prick, but
Do you reckon
kind of
in
was.
20 years? Do you reckon in 20 years, if Carl Froch is doing like a university appearance, you know, like handing out T-shirts or something, you know, like David Brent style, do you reckon if the guy introduces him as a 2-time world champion, Froch would lean over and say, 3-time world champion actually? Do you reckon he's the sort of guy who'd still be doing that in 20 years' time?
Yeah,
100%. And I think that's just him though. And I think he was just about good enough to kind of get away with it. His record just about speaks for itself, so you don't have to bother about all his shit outside the ring being a knob.
Yeah. Actually,
That's where Paul Smith's completely different, where Paul Smith's done absolutely nothing in the ring, and he's an absolute bell end to all his fans.
Proven he's world level though.
Well, yeah.
Fighting around the world and losing. But yeah, really good note to end on actually, because I don't know if any of you guys saw it. Maybe we can put a link to it later on. But there was an interview, I think it was on Reddit on the boxing forums there, with Golovkin, but it was translated from the Russian. And I don't know if you guys saw this at all. It's really interesting because he's actually giving full in-depth answers, but it's sort of quite wide-ranging, and it's not really about the fight with Wade or anything. It's about his persona and how he's perceived in America and how kind of he's perceived as this really nice guy. And Golovkin he's quite kind of spiky in the interview, and he's quite negative towards the questions, you know, saying there are various questions he just refuses to answer. He says, I don't see why I should have to answer that. That's irrelevant, you know. The guy asked him about his hobbies, and he says, why does it matter what my hobbies are? I'm a fighter. Ask me about the fights, and I'll give you an answer. And he's very kind of, like you said, Cal, he seems very aware that all the extra stuff, talking about like his favourite ice cream and stuff, is really pointless because as soon as he's stopped being a fighter, no one will give a shit anymore. So why is he going to wait?
Yeah.
He's lucky he never went on ringside then, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mate, or that Charlie Webster show.
Charlie's
Gennady, would you snog, marry, or kill? Yeah, and then give him 3 ring card go.
But that fight when it come up, what's his favourite food, and it just said meat. It was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think it was on. I don't know if it was HBO or something.
Michelle Phelps, it was the Michelle Phelps special. I remember that.
That's when he fought Ashida, I think. I can remember seeing it.
It come up like, I think after the 5th round or something, like on the side, he just said favourite food, meat. I was just like, what?
I had to.
But everyone thought
Do you reckon
but it actually, no, I've seen him say that on an interview as well, where he just said, like, I just like meat, and like laughed. And then they just said, and she was saying, like, what's your favourite place to go on, like, for a holiday? And he said, his answer was something like, just Palm Tree. And that was it. And like, you just think, I think he's kind of deliberately shutting down the questions because you could tell he's just not interested in talking about it. Sorry to be rambling. The one last thing is that they asked him about the good boy thing and whether that had caught on in Kazakhstan and people called him good boy Golovkin or anything. And he got quite annoyed about it. And I'll send you guys the interview so you can read it. It's quite a long answer, but he basically went, the Americans love to do this. It's a stupid gimmick, and I wish people would focus on my fights and not these stupid kind of catchphrases. I don't need catchphrases. Just, you know, I'm a fighter. Just watch me fight, basically.
And he plays up to it still.
Sorry?
Yeah,
He still plays up to it though.
How much of that is HBO telling him to, though? That's what I.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got to increase his marketability, but he is, you know, a bit stupid now.
It seemed to me that he was. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they had deliberately kind of kept his English down and encouraged him to speak in that funny way, because maybe if he became fluent, he'd give these really negative answers and lose some sort of casual fans. But it's quite obvious that he's a bit different to guys like Oscar, who are really happy to kind of play the game and take all these photographs and kind of be the celebrity. He just didn't seem interested in it at all in this interview.
Yeah, Triple G turned down Doc Assi for a photo, so that makes him an eternal legend.
That's one of the best moments of 2015 was shit, but that is one of the highlights.
Yeah, that was my
That certainly placed him at least number 3 on the hot list of 2015.
We haven't done a hot list in a while, actually.
We should.
It's called the Garrido list now.
When's Garrido back?
List.
He's fine.
April. It's on the Leeds card.
Great fight again. Nice, lovely little trade fight from her.
Is it April 2nd or April 6th? Oh, fuck no.
It's Dave Ryan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's gonna get
actually a decent fight. Ryan should win, but it'll be a decent fight.
I don't want to see Ryan.
Fuck Dave Ryan. Garrido's smashing him a bit.
Garrido's going to chin him.
I think Dave Ryan's probably the best out of the other British 140 pounders because he's got loads of money here.
Yeah, apart
Cattrall,
from
actually. Cattrall would probably beat him.
Cattrall would beat him all easy, but he's got no one to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of the divide, isn't he? It's a shame. I'd like to see him do something, but yeah, guys. I
Well,
mean,
Guido would smash Catterall, actually. So
Carroll beat him.
And just a disclaimer to Brian.
I've never seen Catterall get hit. I've seen him hit other people, but I've never seen him take a shot himself. I'd like to see him
what
fight.
was that last fight he was in? He got hit a few times earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was against some. It was literally against like some guy who looked like he barely trained. Do you know what I mean? So it didn't really matter that he got.
He looked about 50, the guy who was
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah. It was all,
He was half decent fight. It was the most entertaining fight he's been in since he went over to fucking Spa Mayweather. And yeah, I mean, he got hit a couple of times, but he blasted the guy out.
I love that Stalker fight though. Like how gobby Stalker was before, and then first round he just gets smashed. I think he broke his nose in the first round, and then they throw the towel in or something. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. The gobby Scouser just getting the absolute piss beaten out of him. Yeah.
Seamus Macklin unusually taking a defeat in that fight, but
Well, Seamus has got to work with the fighters he's given. I mean, it's not his fault. The
no,
fighters.
I'm surprised that Tesco got Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year and not Seamus, but
Powers that be.
politics, isn't it?
Yeah, it's political.
Well, that's 2016 wrapped up for you, so.
Yeah. So unless anyone else has got any, I don't think we've missed any fights, have we?
No, but apparently Josh Parker's announcing his next fight in half hour.
I'll be on.
Let's stay on air to announce what journeyman he's fighting from. Fucking
We're all the elite
Timbuktu.
heavyweights.
I'm gonna go for let's guess who it is.
Is Franz Botha still going or not?
I think he's
Mate, he ended Sonny Bill's career. They're not going to go anywhere near him.
He's getting redemption for the New Zealanders. Send Parker and finish him.
I think
Would they let
Parker's fought,
let Frank Bruno over to New Zealand, or has he got a criminal record?
Guys, I've got one.
No.
Okay, I'm going to make my pick now. I'm going to say Solis. I think they're going to cast. They're going to what's his face, the Turkish.
That is a great shout.
There you go. Solis was Parker. Throw him to the Wolves.
They're saying it's a step up, but I don't think it's. Who
Go on,
could it be?
everyone do a prediction. One of us will get it if we all do one.
It was Huey after Fedosov. I reckon it'll be Fedosov.
You reckon they'll pay more money than
He's in with Ustinov, isn't he? That's what I've heard.
allegedly?
Right.
Wanna be.
Oh yeah, there's a bit of money behind Parker because he's obviously the only cunt there. So.
That's what I mean. They'll be able to get some
It's the
faded.
Burger King money, mate. It's the Burger King money.
Oh yeah, but I think Solis is a good shout. I think that's a really good shout.
What about Big Pricey?
No, he won't have enough time with Coldwell yet.
I'm gonna go for.
6 rounds though.
I'm gonna go for Duhapa.
That's
Duhapa.
too risky. He's not fighting anyone that good.
Oh no, he's fighting Thingy, isn't he? Hellenius, so it can't be him. Scratch that.
No, it won't be. What about Audley?
Melina.
Audley, fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Shannon
Molina's.
Shannon Briggs, that's what I'm going
That'd
for.
be a good fight.
No, well, Briggs wouldn't go out there. He's waiting for like a title shot, isn't he, against Wilder or something?
He's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
but
whack.
I've nailed it, mate. It's going to be Solis.
I think he's not. Yeah, but Solis' promoter basically said to him he's going to fucking sign down River and let him get knocked out now, isn't
He's lost like £500,000 on Solis, that Armour owner guy. And he had remember in the last fight when Solis quit against Thompson.
he? Yeah, that's when he
had to
basically.
be in his corner because Solis had fired the cornerman. He'd fired.
Right,
his,
I'm
he
looking
had
at
to
the
do it himself.
WBO rankings.
He literally had the spit bucket himself.
Yeah, but his Armour owner was like fucking slapping Solis and shit, weren't he?
Yeah, he hates him. Like he's gonna like throw him to the wolves eventually.
Yeah.
Definitely
You
gonna.
know what? I would not want to be on the fucking wrong side of that of him. I'm not, but
Solis owes him a lot of money, and I think to be
Yeah.
honest, the Team Parker might be willing to pay a decent amount to get him over.
oh yeah, they will.
And it's
Yeah, they will.
there's no way Solis wins. So I think if I'm Parker's manager, I would try and make that fight.
Imagine if he did make that fight and Solis just had some like epiphany, came in fucking in absolute unreal shape and just wasted it.
Put it all together, yeah. Then they'll stick him in with Guillermo Jones in a 15-rounder as a punishment.
But I think Solis is a good shout.
Right. Okay. Anyone else got any other predictions for it before we go? Cal?
No, I'm happy with your prediction. I don't think
Parker's going to beat anyone in the top 10 till at least 2017, though.
What about Malik Scott? Maybe someone like that.
No, that's going to be David Hay, isn't it, I think.
Oh yeah.
Is David Hay still not announced?
No.
This is taking the
Waiting
piss a
for
bit
the
now.
Frampton fight, isn't
What about Mike Perez?
No
Yeah.
chance.
Parker's already beat Botha.
Yeah, I said that. It's like his 6th or 7th fight.
Carl's been thinking about Poppers for the last 10 minutes.
No, I'm just looking at Joseph Parker's box right now.
Sherman the Tank Williams.
Yeah, he's beat him.
Did
Who else?
he beat the
Yeah, he beat the tank. Because I was going to say that, then Alison seen he's beat Calamir.
Yeah,
What
he
about Carl
beat
the Fridge
the tank.
Baker? Has he fought the Fridge yet?
He's
Brian,
retired.
He beat Brian Minto as well. Nassim Minto.
Who's retired? Carl Baker?
Yeah, I think so.
The Fridge?
Yeah.
When's he
Fridge
retired?
I don't think so.
I don't think he'll retire. He's
The Fridge
propping
will
up
be on call, mate. He'll come into your hometown and beat you up.
I loved it when the Fridge fucking twatted Danny Williams.
Do you reckon it could be Fast Eddie Chambers?
Nah,
No.
fucking fat.
He's still moaning about not having a fight.
Everyone's ducking him, mate.
There
You know
are
what?
there are a lot of heavyweights who are ready to be pushed. Do you know what I mean? Who are on the edge, ready to be pushed. I reckon Parker could get a decent name.
Oh, I know it's going to be.
That's a weird.
Woo! Jason.
Do you know who?
Jason, sensation.
Where's Andy?
I love Jason Gavin because fucking Peter Fury, when he was talking about him, he just said he got in the ring for one round sparring with Huey and he just chucked him out and said shit. That's when Sky were trying to say it was a big step up for Joshua and he was just saying he's probably the worst heavyweight in the world.
No,
right?
he's a defensive puzzle.
Oh, that was the worst.
Fucking hell.
That was the worst. I think the thing is, Jason Gavin is literally a landscape gardener. He's not a professional boxer.
Didn't Matt Legg beat him in the fucking
No,
prize
Matt
fight?
Legg. Matt Legg got knocked out by James Toney at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
shit,
how
that were
fucking
it.
shit he is.
Yeah. Inside
He
3 rounds.
fought at Wembley though. How many fighters can say that?
Oh,
Wembley,
He was the first person to land a punch on fucking Joshua as well.
I thought he had
Okay,
him as
then,
well. He
yeah.
was wobbled.
That was the Groves undercard, wasn't it? The Prox Groves.
Yeah, Frost Groves.
I'll
Yeah,
never
too.
forget, the lads in front of me, one of them had a bet on Joshua in the first round. And when he knocked Leg out in the first round, this guy went absolutely mental. He got 3-1 on it. And you're like, what, for a first round knockout? And this guy was like, I knew it, I told you. He was shouting to all his mates. And they were all just going, and it was just this casual, absolute casual, like, Mong fest. And they were going absolutely mental about winning sort of 60 quid off for a first round KO bet. And, like, they were just like, oh, Joshua, he's unstoppable. And you could see it even then. And this is, 2 years ago?
That was 2-0 as well, wasn't it? That was his second fight, I think.
And it was just, yeah, exactly. And he was just,
His second fight was Paul Butlin at Sheffield, I think.
That was a good
I've
one
seen
too,
that.
that, to be fair.
Because I went to that and what was it? Some cunt I know. Who said before? He thought Joshua's going to knock him out in 2 rounds. Going to make up a statement. Are you fucking serious? Paul
The White
Butlin.
Rhino's coming for him soon, anyway.
Yeah.
I like
fucking
it.
Dave Allen's a good one.
Yeah,
Dave
he's
Allen's
coming for
good one.
Joshua. He's going to get.
If I ever
rid
go
of,
to a show in Sheffield, I'm going to buy a ticket off him instead of fucking Hearn, because at least then it gets to fight or
Get
whatever.
Towers out of the way.
I said I'd buy
That's a
some
good
off him.
fight. It's a 50-50,
Yeah,
innit?
Towers. Nah, I think Allen will beat him pretty easily.
He's quite funny on Twitter as well, isn't he, Dave Allen?
Yeah.
Fuck Woodhouse's knockout tips. You want to get Dave Allen's fucking. I don't know. They're not knockout tips, but.
Knockout tips he's got.
Fucking hell, you're selling this well, Ainsley. They're not knockouts, they're quite shit. But...
Right, we're done there.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it
On
up.
that note, we'll be back with more knockout tips after the Frampton Quick fight. I don't know if we'll attempt a live one, because I think you guys will be in no fit state.
Yeah, me and Cal are going on Periscope if anyone's interested.
Are you going to Periscope it, all right?
Yeah.
Well,
Actually,
everyone,
I just
follow the next big pod account for live updates from the scene.
Just want to remind the listeners, the treble is Ola Afolabi, Frampton by unanimous decision, and Hank Lundy to last the round, so Crawford
Phil,
on points.
On points, yeah.
Fill your boots.
Fill your boots, 27-1. Let me know how you go.
Cheers, guys.
Maravilla Tom 89 for any security needs for the weekend.
Paul Smith, watch your back. Tom's coming for you.
Yeah, Paul Smith he's been put on notice by Tom.
And Brian shat it off Paul Smith. That's why he's not going.
Yeah. He said he didn't want to get shagged by Scotty Cardle's massive weapon.
Just turn it off.